No problem. Okay, cool beans. Okay. All righty. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I was live. Shabbat shalom to everyone here. All righty. We just had a pray in. I do apologize for everyone who wasn't on the channel. That was my mistake, trying to fix out all the kinks here. I didn't realize that we didn't have the people on here, so my fault.
Also, the Cash App changed, and it's
Uh-huh.
It's no longer Yah's Manna. It's Yah's Will 46. Yah's Will 46.
All right. For those who just joined, I just got my channel up. I apologize. I thought I was live, and I wasn't live. So we just prayed in. You can go to my wife's channel, Makai Yehuda, and get the intro if you want as well. What we want to do right now is we're going to go back in, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over some parallel scriptures or scriptures that parallel Deuteronomy, because what happens is people need to understand that. In order to understand, one thing I want you all to get is this: when we was brought into captivity, we had taskmasters put over us. We had the police, overseers, and one thing they did was they gave us a slave Bible, so they gave us part of our history. So saying that, when you look at the Bible, it's basically an outline of the things that have happened with Israel on the Ivrit. So saying that, when you go into the book of Jasher, which is one of my favorite books, it's called, Jasher means the book of the upright. These are men who walk uprightly. These are men, you understand, who actually gave us the scriptures and taught us how we should walk, how we should talk. And I thought it was amazing that Burkina Faso, where the big movement is happening in Africa, it's called the land of the upright. So saying that, I want to go ahead and go. We went through Deuteronomy chapter 5, the first lesson, then we went through 10, the next one. So I want to give some parallels in the book of Jasher, because a lot of people don't read Jasher. Jasher, the book we're reading out of, for those who are ignorant and don't know any better, it says this is some other book. This was actually given us. When you read, go ahead and read Jeremiah. Jeremiah tells you that he wrote a Cepher. This is the Cepher. He gave it to his scribe, or he gave it to his secretary. His name was Baruch. Baruch gave us this Cepher. And so in the Cepher, you understand, is the book also of Jasher, which is the book of the upright. So Jasher is basically an oral translation of the things that happened to our people. So it's our hit people giving a verbal history account of what happened.
Something else to know that is valid scripture is that Joshua mentions it in the Old Testament, and it's also mentioned in other places as a historical reference.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So Jasher is a book, if you want to get a deeper understanding of what happened with our people and how things happened, how names came about, how the titles even today still stand. I'm going to give an example. When we talk about Ryakon, you got to understand, was a man who was a very handsome man. This is in Jasher. You can write this down. Jasher chapter 14, 27 through 32. Write it down. I guess you guys can use that as your homework. Book of Jasher, chapter 14, 27, 32. This is Ryakon. So Ryakon was a man who was very ingenious. He was very smart, super intelligent. But another thing he was super handsome. So Ryakon thought, I'm just going to verbally go over this so you guys can and bring you forward to where we are right now. So Ryakon felt, with his cunning ways and him being so intelligent, that he can go into Egypt, and what he could do once he got there is win the king over, because at that time they were not called pharaohs, they were called kings, and that he could win the king over, and that the king would also give him a nice position in the kingdom. And so what happened, when you start reading Jasher 14 and 27, you'll learn that when Ryakon went into the city, he had no money. He was indignant. He didn't have anything. He was a poor man. Degenerate. He didn't have any money whatsoever. So saying that, what he did was he said, you know what? I got to come with an idea to make some money. So he had the little bit of money he had. He didn't have much. He went and bought fruit, because when he went into the city, he had nowhere to lay down. So he saw an old bakehouse. The bakehouse, the roof was torn up and it was torn down. But he went in there, laid down, and this is when he thought about it. He says, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to figure out, how to get some money like we do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us try to ponder, what can I do to make my living better? What can I do to better myself? So he came up with an ingenious idea to get some fruits and vegetables and go into the city and sell them. Well, if you don't know anything about Ham's children, and I'm going to tell you something, when you go into their lands and you try to set up shop, they're going to come against you. And a lot of our people have figured it out when they went over to Africa right now. Right now, Ghana and other places where they've gone in around Ham's children have taken everything that they've had. Not saying that all of Ham's children does this, but that is part of their bloodline, how they work together. Just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, when they worked together, whenever a man would come into a city, they would give him coins and all. They all worked together to take it from him and starve him, or either they would perish from thirst or hunger. So saying that, when he went into Egypt to do that, when he got into the market to sell, all the Egyptians were pissed off, because you got to remember, Egypt was started by who? Ham's son Kush. And so when Kush ended up, of course, we know this, when Nimrod beat his dad up and they had a fight, he ended up separating. And this is when Nimrod ended up marrying his own mother. And Kush set up the land of what you would call, Kush set up the land, what you would call Egypt today. And so when he went in there and he tried to sell, they surrounded him. They took all of his goods and everything. And he was so upset. He went back to the bakehouse and he pondered in his mind, how can I meet the Pharaoh? The king, because at that time, remember, he was not the Pharaoh. So he said, how do I meet the king? So one thing they told him, in order to meet the king, you got to have a nice garments. You got to be dressed very well. But the king only comes out once a year to meet the people of the land. So he's like, man, I got to wait a whole year. So he was like, but I don't even have the garments. So he's like, what do I do? What do I do? So he came up with an ingenious idea, because he was very cunning, a very sharp man. He decided that what he would do is that he would tell people or big, strong men that I'm going to hire you, but I want you to sit outside the gates of the dead where they would bury people. And then what we're going to do is extort a tax on them. Now, these men, of course, didn't know he was broke, but he told them in 2 weeks, I'll go ahead and pay you. Or you know how a man does when they, know they don't have money. So what do? They just set up little mechanisms to pretend like they got until they get where they need to be.
Fake it till they make it.
Say it again, sis.
They fake it.
They fake it till they make it. So Ryakon was faking it until he made it. And so saying that, Ryakon ended up hiring these men. I think it was 20 at first. And he set them up outside the gates of the place where they buried the dead. And so when people came up, I think they had to pay them 20 shekels. And they had to pay them in order to bury the dead. And the people were very wroth and upset about this. They hated it. They couldn't believe it. But they couldn't do anything about it. And over time, in that year's period of time, Ryakon, he increased in horses and wealth and gold, silver, onyx stones, all these valuable things that he increased in order for these people to bury their dead in the city. And so when he did this, the people were so upset. So it came time, the day that the king had to come out. And when the king came out, he said, the people all ran up to him. What is this that you do to us? What did you do to us? He said, what are you talking about? They said, we know that you exact a tax from the living, but where in our history was it ever written that you exact a tax from the dead? He said, I don't know anything about this. What are you talking about? They said, Ryakon, he said that you told him to get taxes from the dead. Well, now in order to bury our dead, we got to go ahead and pay taxes. So the king was very upset. He was wroth. And so he sent for Ryakon. Ryakon's heart was beating. He was afraid. He didn't know what to do, but in his mind, because he was what? Very wise. He took about 100 children. He arrayed them in silk garments, and he arrayed them in nice clothing. Then he took one of the most beautiful horses for the king. Then on top of that, he took gold and silver and onyx stones, things that had accumulated. Then he went before the king. And when the king saw this, he was amazed at what he saw, his beauty, his glory. But when he opened his mouth, they were overwhelmed with his wisdom. They were so overwhelmed that the king says, you know what? With your wisdom, with your understanding, and not only that, remember, he just bought the king a whole lot of money. The king says, I need to make you second in command. He said, but you know what? From this day forth, your name will no longer be Ryakon. Your name will be Pharaoh. Pharaoh means he who exacts a tax from the dead, or he who exacts a tax. So from that day forward, all men who became in position of the kingship were no longer called king, they were called Pharaoh. Sister McKay, I want you to go ahead and elaborate how that parallels today. Because we got a lot of modern day pharaohs today. You understand, that are over the people. Go ahead and read what I wrote down for you.
And you know, this is why I just saw a comment on your page where somebody said people are saying the Cepher is fake. But if you really open your eyes and read this book and compare it to the things that's going on, you will see that a lot of the leadership today is pulling from these principles.
So let me just give you this in a nutshell. The Cepher came out before the 1611. The Cepher came out before your New King James. Read Jeremiah. Jeremiah had Baruch write this Cepher. So I'm going to give you some more wisdom, since whoever said that, obviously you've never read. If you've read any of the scriptures, you will understand that the Cepher is the most accurate Bible that we have, period. End of discussion. It pulls everything together, the old and the new. It expounds upon how the old was carnal, but the new is spiritual. Without the Cepher, how are you going to know where you came from? Without the Cepher, how do you understand where you're going? So whoever said that is saying out of ignorance. You either never picked the book up or you're regurgitating vomit. What does that mean? You're regurgitating the vomit that came out of other men's mouth. Because that is the most accurate Bible that you pick it up and read it. Then you come back to me and say that. Pick it up and read it. Then you come back to me and say that. That Cepher has 81 books. Do you not understand that Constantine, who ruled, how long did he live? It was 506 to 537 BCE. He's the one that came in and gave you your new books. That's why you're calling this book a fake, because you got Christianity mixed up in you. Christianity is a mix of Christians' doctrine mixed with pagan doctrine, and they call it Christianity. Constantine gave you that. Before him was Ignatius Lyodis. They're the ones who set up that system so that you wouldn't read your books and you would stay ignorant. So saying that anyone who says that, I'm going to say this. No, I'm going to say this. You're ignorant. Ignorant means you don't have no what? No knowledge. You haven't read it, as my wife said. If you read it, you wouldn't be saying those words. It's the most accurate Bible that you can get today, period. End of discussion. It's even got the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls, a lot of the books that was in the Dead Sea Scrolls found in Cameroon caves in 1948 are in the Cepher. It basically verifies it. Matter of fact, let's get even deeper. Our books that the Indians had in America, that you call the Book of Mormon, with Joseph A. Smith, the YT men, put their names in it, but they'll even tell you that these are translations that we transcribe. He even said that this is not our books. The Indians had this book. That book says it's going to go with the book of what? The Jews. And this book is the book of the Jews. Jeremiah gave us this in Greek captivity. It predates all your other Bibles. It predates them.
It was actually Babylonian captivity.
Come on. So
wrote those.
Folks, y'all, so whenever you have someone say that, they're ignorant.
Haven't read it.
You haven't read it. You're just regurgitating what you heard from somebody else.
You know, somebody
shared, or you're trying to bring division. So I don't know who it is who said it.
Somebody shared a video with me. You know, it looked like AI generated, but they were talking about how the Bible plagiarizes other books, like the
folks,
Gilgamesh.
All of that stuff is so that you can stay ignorant and stay in sin.
That's it.
Period.
That is it.
They want you to stay in sin so that they can stay in power longer. So they have think tanks, just like your Knights of the Round Table, your Democrats and your Republicans, who work together to keep you ignorant, to keep one side fighting with the other side. Folks, that's all part of the whole delusion.
Or think about how they gave us the slave Bible.
Come on,
I mean, that is proof right there. They will take things out of the scriptures.
Absolutely. They have to, so they can stay in power.
In the blind.
As long as we are blind, they feel as though they can rule longer. These books explain everything that's happened in the past and everything that's happening in the future.
Yeah.
If you don't have the Cepher, what do you know about Second Baruch? What do you know about First Baruch? The one who wrote it, Jeremiah's secretary. Jeremiah told you, I gave my secretary Baruch And I had him write a Cepher for the people. Well, what do you think the Cepher is? That's it. You're listening to men, but you're not listening to the Most High. So from the empty, from the full. And I'm trying to fill my lamp.
And of course, it's a collection of ancient writings put all together in one book.
Yeah, so I'm glad they asked that question because it's ignorant. So it's just people speaking out of ignorance. And you got the fire of Shem coming out of me right now, calling this book fake or phony. When I know without this book, we would not know where we're at. Without the Cepher, we wouldn't know. Without the Dead Sea Scrolls, we wouldn't know. Without the Septuagint, we wouldn't know. Without the King James 1611 with the apocryphal books, we wouldn't know. The Cepher has every book that the King James 1611 and all the apocryphal books in it, plus many more that you don't have.
Oh, of course. It was a pastor who said it.
Oh, it was?
My goodness.
Oh, well, then why y'all... if it was a pastor who said it, why y'all repeating it to me?
My goodness.
Why y'all repeating it to me? Jeremiah 23, verse 1 says that the pastors do what? Scatter the sheep. Isaiah 56:10 say each one teach for his what? Gain up a quarter. Man. Come on, man. These people don't know nothing. Look. Matter of fact, you want to get deep on this? I'm gonna get deep on this. I've had 4 pastors come to me lately. 4 of them.
Come on.
One of them told me, brother, I didn't even know the book like I thought I knew until I started talking to you.
Bring it out.
I had one yesterday. I'm going over precepts and scripture. He's like a deer in headlights. He don't even know the stories of our ancestors. He don't know what Jasher is. He don't know about Enoch. He doesn't know about all of these books whatsoever. He had no clue. Why? Because it was closed to them. Because pastors are set up by the Roman church. That's what your church is today. Aren't you not worshiping in churches on the Sabbath, on a Saturday, on a Sunday? What is Sunday? The worship of Saturnella, the sun god Jesus. Are they not calling on Jesus, a name that's only 500 years old? Until you get the Cepher, you ain't heard of Yeshua. You ain't heard of Yahuwah. You don't know what their names mean. Yakanan, Yaakov, Itzhak, the spiritual names, not the names that were given to you that are translated from Greek to Latin to English. And we know that Latin is what? Satan's language. So when you're dealing with a pastor, you're dealing with a worldly man who has no clue about what's going on. Not all, but 98% of the pastors, they don't even know our books. Only a small percentage of the pastors know our books. But even though they know the truth, there's no truth in them. Come on. Because why would they be teaching on a Sunday?
Romans chapter 1.
Why would they have you tithing when tithing was only done to the Levites? Because they didn't get land. But we're all, as Israel, a nation of kings, priests, and prophets under the order of Melchizedek, which is ordained from heaven. So if these pastors are of our people, why they got you worshiping and celebrating Christmas? When Jeremiah chapter 10 says, "Hear, O Israel, don't do what the heathens do. They cut down a tree and they fasten with nails." Why the pastors got you celebrating Halloween, which is Satan's day?
And then they try to dress it up with a different name.
So when you talk about these modern day pastors, that's why the Most High say the pastors scatter the sheep. Because they know the truth, but ain't no truth in them. And a lot of them don't even know the truth. When I talk to pastors a lot of times and I give them things and I go into the scriptures, they're like deer in headlights. They don't even know. They'll try to look and act like they know what I'm talking about, but I can tell they don't because they can't respond back. You know, I've had 4 or 5 pastors come to me and thank me. Even one brother, he said, "Brother, I'm over church. And now, since I've been following you guys, I realized there's a lot I didn't know and I wasn't teaching my people right. And I know I need to be celebrating on the Sabbath, but I don't want to piss people off." And I said, "Brother, let me explain something to you about the truth. Remember we just went over lies and truth? Right? Remember we just went over that? One thing we learned about a lie, that in Paleo Hebrew, there's no alf and there's no tav in it. It's called emet. So that word emet, there's no truth in it. So that means there's no beginning and there's no end to a lie. It cannot stand. But the truth stands on its own because it always has a beginning and it definitely will have an end. So saying that, these churches are founded upon a lie. And since they are founded upon a lie, they will never, ever have an ending as far as them being the one that's set up for the people to teach us. The dominion of the churches are pretty much gone. They're mostly drying up. A lot of people don't even go to churches anymore. Because Acts 17, verse 24, the Most High straightway told his children, I do not dwell in a place built with man's hands.
Just to clarify what you just said, it will never be confirmed. Never. A lie can never be confirmed. What it will do, though, is be exposed. Okay?
And that's what's happening now.
It will be exposed. And this is why New Testament, all throughout New Testament, it says, in these times, do not be deceived.
If a man tells you that Yeshua's in the field on the mountain, don't believe it. A lot of these men want to act like they are Christ. And two, the main reason that your pastors are telling you that the Cepher is not real, it's just like the Pharisees and the Sadducees or Sadducees. The reason they didn't want to believe that Yeshua was real. Because if he was real, that means they get no more tithing. And if he was real, they would get no more 10% from these people of all nations because they didn't get land. So if he was real, that means that now, instead of them coming to us, they're going to go through him and the Holy Spirit. This is why your pastors don't want you to read in this book. Because now they can't fill their coffers.
The truth does what? It sets us free.
Yeah, it sets us free.
And that's the thing. We cannot
And who's the truth?
Freedom depending on your enemy.
Who's the truth? The word.
Especially depending on their information.
The word is the truth.
Yes.
The word is the truth. That's why Yeshua, when you look it up in Paleo Hebrew, the number is what? 386. But truth, or excuse me, the word. What is the word number? 386, the same exact dramatra. Because he is the word. He is the truth. He is the way. He is the light. He's the only way you're going to take flight. Without him, you ain't going nowhere. So that's why your pastors are saying that, because they don't want to give up what was given to them by the Roman Catholic Church.
Period.
Why do they sign 5013C? They sign that, but they sign basically, they can't tell the truth. You can't talk about what the YT man is doing or done or has done our people. You can't talk about the rainbow people. You can't talk about the government. You can't talk about anything. And for that, you not doing that, what they do is make them tax exempt. We're 508. That's what we are. We don't sell our souls. We understand we're still tax exempt, but we didn't sell our souls. We're not under those stipulations of a 5013C. We're not under those stipulations. So when you listen to people tell you or say that our book, and I'm going to say this again, this is our book that was given us in Babylonian times. So saying that this book right here is our writings, it's to give us understanding so we know how to maneuver. Matter of fact, we're going to go through it. We just talked about Ryakon. And we just talked about how before they were called pharaohs, they were called kings. But since he exacted a tax from the dead, the king told him, your name is no longer Ryakon, but it's called Pharaoh. He who exacts the tax from the dead, or exact the tax. So, Sister Micaiah, let's go ahead and break some parallels down from then till now. Go ahead and break it down. Go ahead and read from what I wrote for you.
So in Jasher chapter 14, verses 27 through 32, Jasher 14, verses 27 through 32, Ryakon exacted tribute from the dead. All right. That's when he was renamed Pharaoh. So what do governments today
Let's talk about it.
do?
What do? You got new Pharaoh.
Don't they tax the dead here?
They tax what?
Death tax.
Yep.
They tax the funeral, estate, and inheritance. Okay.
That's called a death tax. Just like who did? The Pharaoh.
Yep.
Go ahead and read.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. It says nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing new under the sun.
And I'm telling y'all, the more you read in the Old Testament, see, this is why
it's important.
Churches, if you notice, don't want to go to the Old Testament too much.
No, they don't.
But the thing is, when you read Old Testament, you will see how the governments have pulled from this, the people in power.
There are churches that tell you the Old Testament is dead. If it's dead, then why would you tithing?
Right.
Why are we tithing there since it's dead? They don't want you to stop paying the money.
Somebody told me they asked their pastor that question and got kicked out the church.
I bet you they did. Because you bring too much knowledge.
Yes. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 11 through 14. Pharaoh set taskmasters, forcing Yasharel to build treasure cities for his wealth. Corporations and governments also do that. They exploit our labor today.
Yes, they do.
You know, think about how they make people work long hours.
Yeah.
The people at the bottom don't see the wealth.
But the 1%, they get all the money.
The wealth. And think about this now. You really working for free because it's like most of the companies are owned by like one group of people, elites. Well, so you get your paycheck. Yeah. You have to go to the grocery store. You have to go buy clothes. And these people own these places where you shopping.
Even the food that you eat, they own the food companies. Now, the I'm going to just say this, BA, for algorithm purposes. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
This for entertainment purposes only.
A lot of times what happens is things get approved from the FBA, Football Association. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And so what happens is these companies, knowing a lot of things they know are not healthy for people, the same people who own the food companies actually own a lot of pharmaceutical companies. So they know that if they give you certain things you go to eat, now you're going to need a medicine for that. Now that you go get that medicine for that medicine that you take for a kidney problem is giving you a thyroid problem. That thyroid problem medicine that you're taking now is giving you a heart problem. That heart medicine you're taking now is giving you a liver problem. That liver medicine that you're taking now is giving you tumors. Do you understand? You see the circle that they create?
Hamster wheel is what I call it.
You see what they do? They keep you on a hamster wheel.
For real.
So everything they do is to keep feeding the 1%.
Yep.
They think this out in think tanks.
Yes.
Don't think when you go buy certain items, they didn't sit around the table and decide, okay, if they're going to be eating a lot of candy, we got to make sure that candy's got properties where it can cheer up their teeth, where it can do other things. I mean, that's why, like this morning, I woke up and because of the years of me eating candy and not thinking anything of it, I had a problem with Reese's Cups. You know, my eye was swollen. I prayed on it, did a couple things, and my eye went down, but I got to get to the dentist. And as I thought about it, I'm like, man, when I was younger, they always made it seem as though that this stuff was so good for us, it was no big deal. But now look at my side effects, you know, with that tooth in the back and how I woke up with a swollen eye, you know, and by the grace of the Most High, he brought it down. I got a little darkness, but, you know, I'm going to go get some antibiotics. But he brought it down. And I thought about that for a moment. I thought about when I was 7 years old, and I remember we run out of milk when I was little because, you know, it was 5 of us brothers and sisters. We would always run out within 4 days. And then my mom would try to bring the powdered milk in.
Same here.
You know, so, and then I would have to resort to canned milk, you know, but I can drink canned milk to this day with water. So saying that, I said, I'm always have 2 gallons of milk in my fridge at all times. Now you find out that milk is the cause of a lot of other things. I'm going to leave it right there because you got to be careful how we speak.
For entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only. So we got to be careful how we speak. And so when you find out that is not true, you say, man, we inherit a lot of lies. And so basically everything is designed for usury, period. Just like they used us in the past, they're doing it right now. Let's go ahead and keep reading, please. I'm going to read Exodus.
So Exodus 1, 11 through 14. So we were talking about how they exploit labor. So if you notice, we were just watching a report where it was talking about how so many Black women are being laid off recently.
3,000 this year alone.
You know what I'm saying?
Over 3,000 have been laid off this year alone.
So with that being said, you got so many people being laid off, which is adding to the workload of those who aren't laid off. But you're not getting an increase in pay. Also, as the prices of everything go up, your pay ain't matching it.
That's right.
You know, some people haven't had a pay raise in years.
Well, to be honest with you, the economy is the way it is because ever since 1972, the prices have gone up, but the wages to balance those prices have not gone up. So disproportionately, the prices have gone up of foods, goods, clothing, you know, what they call the gross domestic product, GDP. But as far as the wages, they've actually become stagnant. They haven't gone up. So therefore, everyone is basically in a used state. We're all being used. That's what we are. That's why they call you cattle or goyim.
Yeah.
Is what they call you.
Now,
so we're still in captivity.
Yeah. Now compare that to the children of Yesharel when they was making bricks for those pyramids. Okay. Initially, they was given the supplies to build with. And then what did Pharaoh do? He said, you know what? When Moses went to him the first time, he said, guess what? Let them make their own bricks now out of the straw. Let them gather the materials they need for it. And, you know, they wanted the stuff done in the same amount of time.
And this is what they do today. Just like when they said, you know what, with the Aboriginal people, you know, the census, we got them thinking they're a minority now because we've changed the people from Britain, Russia, Spain, France. We've said they're YT on the dolls rolls now. So now we want to make them think that they're minorities and we're the majority, that it's so many of us that we can go and take them out if they don't listen. So saying that, a lot of our people went into servitude, what you would call slavery, but a lot of our people were free. They were Indians on reservations. But a lot of our people who did go into cotton fields, they did the same thing. Worked them day and night. They only had breakfast, or they only had supper and dinner. And then they were never paid. And so saying that, even when they were so-called freed, everything we've done ever since that day that we were supposed to be freed, they stigmatize it and we go to jail. If you're not at home by sundown, our people went to jail. If you didn't have a job, you went to jail. If you, I mean, everything we do, they stigmatize us. Let's think about this for a moment. Why is it that of all people on the earth, we're treated the worst? That lets you know we're the people of the promise.
Yeah. So this is another reason why they want to keep us out the book. Let's go to James chapter 5. If I can read verse 1 through 4.
Yeah, I wrote it down here. Go ahead.
It says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver are cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud. Okay? The more you learn about how this system really operates, you will see it's very fraudulent. Cries, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of Yahuwah Sabaoth. So he's hearing our cries.
Yes, he is right now.
This is why so much judgment is falling at this time. All praises to the Most High.
I'm going to go to Exodus 5, and I'm going to read 6 through 9 as well. I'm going to read 1 through 9.
Okay.
Exodus 5, 1 through 9. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to read this real quick. Exodus chapter 5. 1 through 9. And afterwards, Moshe and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus says Yahuwah Elohai of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, who is Yahuwah, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not Yahuwah, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, the Elohai of the Ephraim has met with us. Let us go, we pray you, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto Yahuwah Eloheinu, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. So basically what they're saying is, we want to listen to our God. We're not trying to listen to you because we're not trying to get the pestilence and we're not trying to die by the sword. And the king of Mitzrayim said unto them, wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their works get you into your borders. Shalakia, to your burdens. And Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens? And Pharaoh commanded the same day that the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, ye shall no longer give the people straw to make bricks, as hereafter. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. And the tally of the bricks which they did make herefore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof. For they be idle, therefore cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our Elohim. You know, that's another thing. There's nothing new. Even though we built this nation, even though we were the servants who were in the field picking the cotton, even though everything that is in America that is of anything or significant, we built, they always want to call us what? Lazy, idle. Folks, there's nothing new under the sun. Verse 8, and the tally of the bricks which they did make, heretofore, you shall lay upon them. You shall not diminish aught, therefore, for they be idle. Okay, we just read that. Verse 9. It says, let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard in vain words.
Now, this is key because this is happening now.
Yeah.
Why? Because with the prices going up on everything, people have to work sometimes 2, 3. I've heard of people having 4 jobs, okay? Just trying to make ends meet. So if your hand is constantly at the plow, how do you have time to learn?
Yeah. And there's another thing, verse 10, it says, and the taskmaster of the people went out, and their officers, and they spoke to the people, saying, thus says Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. It says, so if you didn't have straw, how are you going to get the bricks to stay together? This is what they do today. What they do today is they give us so little things that we truly need to get our work done. Things that, where we can complete tasks. The biggest thing they want to do is keep us in servitude. They want to keep usury on us. They want to keep us, you understand, under the taskmaster. Why? Because once we're free, they no longer have a kingdom. And they know this.
And then what's crazy?
Yeah.
Which made me think of a very large company. Those verses that come after verse 12 and 13. Like, okay, they had to literally go abroad to get the materials. Yeah. But they still wanted them to produce the same amount as when they were providing them the material.
Come on.
How is that possible?
This is how it works with these folks, man.
Come on,
There's nothing changed.
These folks are the same, and you can see that they pull these same tactics from this word.
Folks, they read this book.
They know the word.
They do it. Proverbs, let's go to Proverbs. I think it's 22 and 7 I put.
Proverbs what?
22 and 7.
Okay.
Is that? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I'm just going to top of my head. All right, I'm going to go to Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 7. Because this is what's going on. Proverbs 22 and 7 says, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the servant to the lender. What did he tell us that was going to happen to us in Deuteronomy?
That we would be the borrower and not the lender.
What did he tell us who would be?
We would be the borrower and not the lender.
This is when you know that you got taskmasters over you. The Pharaoh's decree controlled life from birth, Exodus 1:16, and death, taxes on the burial. Per Jasher, we talked about this. Modern systems control birth certificates, Social Security, estate taxes. Revelation 13:16 and 17, the mark of the beast, control of life, and what else? Trade. That's that mark of the beast. When you go to Revelation 13:16 and 17, it lets you know that that mark means that that beast will control life and also how you trade and barter. Pharaoh.
Now we coming into that, okay? Just so y'all understand, they already did a test run on this.
Yeah, I want you to read.
This for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely.
But listen, they did a test run on this in 2020. Okay. There are actual written agendas for 2025 and also 2030.
Right.
So understand everything is moving.
Yeah.
To a digital system.
Where money will be thrown where?
In the streets.
So saying that, let's read Revelation. Actually, I'm going to read Ezekiel 29 and 3. Read Ezekiel 29 and 3, please. Because people need to understand something.
All right.
Ezekiel 29 verse 3.
Verse 3.
Go ahead and read that for me.
All right. Ezekiel 29. I can get this page turned. Okay. Right. It says, speak and say, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, behold, I am against you, Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, the great dragon that lies.
Wait a minute. What did he call the Pharaoh or these men?
The great dragon.
The great dragon that does what?
Lies in the midst of his rivers, which has said, my river is my own, and I have made it for myself.
Come on now.
But I will put hooks in your jaws, and I will cause the fish of your rivers to stick to your scales.
Come on.
And I will bring you up out of the midst of your rivers, and all the fish of your rivers shall stick to your scales. And I will leave you thrown into the wilderness, you and all the fish of your rivers. You shall fall upon the open fields. You shall not be brought together, nor gathered. I have given you as food for the beasts of the field and for the fowls of the heavens.
That's good. What I wanted to bring up that point is that the beast system controlling through finance, law, and also another thing, deception. They rule. Finance, law. This is the beast system. I think it's Revelation 22 that talks about the 7 dragons.
But also in Revelation, it says this place would be what? Spiritually
Sodom and
Egypt.
That's right. But he told us to do something. Let's go to Revelation 18:4, please. Go to Revelation 18:4 and see what he told us to do. Because he told us that there would be. That doesn't mean that you got to flee because he said, I'm going to put you in the wilderness and nourish you for a time and a half. What it means is don't do what they do. Come out of her. Stop doing what they do.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins and that ye receive not of her plagues.
This is
so
why.
Come out of her.
The Most High wants us to know that today we still have taskmasters over us. We still have a lot of pharaohs, you understand. And these pharaohs, you understand, they're represented as a dragon. And when we think about that dragon, the 7 dragons, the 7 heads of the dragon, it represents the kingdoms of men who are beasts. And these beasts, all they do is oppress. But the Most High is getting ready to bring his children out of that oppression. We're going to start reading. So we were at Deuteronomy chapter all the way to chapter 10. So let's go ahead and start reading a little bit of Jasher and expounding upon a lot. Let's go to the Book of Jasher. We'll go to chapter 72. We're going to start at. I think I wanted to start at 72. Yeah, we'll start at 72. So to give a little precursor to Balaam, when we go, we're going to read a little bit about Moses and how Moses ended up coming to the land of Ethiopia. The king of Ethiopia, you understand, had a man that was one of his, counselors named Balaam. But when the king of Ethiopia went out to go to war, and Moses went out with them, Balaam ended up taking over the city. He took over the city and built moats up. He even took an area and put snakes in one area where they couldn't come across. And he also did another thing. He made it where that for years that they couldn't even get into their own city until Moses reigned. And then Moses is the one who conjured up a way for them to enter into the city. Something else you're going to learn is that we're going to go over is that when we read this account, you'll learn that Moses took a wife. Her name was Cepher. But before he took that wife, Cepher, he actually took an Ethiopian woman. They gave him her for a wife. But Moses never slept with her. He never did conjugal rights. He wouldn't sleep with her because she wasn't a woman of his people. So you say, what do you mean? Did he marry an Ethiopian, Cepher? No, Cepher was a Midianite. We're going to go into that. And when you learn that Abraham had a son named what? Midian. From, what was her name? Keturah, his wife?
Who?
The one after Sarah died. Keturah. He had a baby from Keturah who was a Midianite. We're going to read all of this. And so saying that, as a matter of fact, let's go get that account first. So as we read, we can have understanding here. So let's go back to the chart here. And then what I want to do is I want to go to...
You're already on it. Is it for?
Okay, never mind. We got it right here. Cool beans. Already got it. All right, good. All praises. So we want to understand who she was and what was going on. So Cepher was this woman that Moses took, because you remember, we're going to go through this account. You're going to read where Moses' brother told him that he had to leave that woman because he thought she was an Ethiopian, or he knew that she wasn't a child of Israel, the one of the 12 tribes. I'm not sure if he really knew what she was, but it didn't matter because she still was a Midianite. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to read a little bit, and then my wife will read as well with me. You guys Cepher? Cool. All right. Who was Cepher? Cepher. In Exodus 2:16 and 22, Moses fled to Egypt and came to Midian and married Cepher, the daughter of Reuel. Reuel was also called Jethro, priest of Midian. If you didn't know that, Jethro was actually the priest of Midian. In Exodus 18:1 and 6, and this is why you understand why Moses would ask him questions and ask for advice and wisdom. In Exodus 18, write it down, 1 through 6, confirms Cepher was Moses' wife and bore him Gershom and also Eleazar. So the bloodline of Cepher was a Midianite woman. The Midianite lineage. What was the lineage of the Midianites? In Genesis 25, 1 and 2, write it down. Abraham, after Sarah's death, married Keturah, and she bore him Zimran, Joshin, how you say that? Jokshan? Jokshan, Midian, and Midian, Ishbak, Shua. Midian, the son of Abraham by Keturah. Therefore, Cepher, a Midianite, was a descendant from Abraham through Keturah. So that's who he married. It was actually Abraham's what? Granddaughter. This makes her a granddaughter of Abraham through the Midian line. Go ahead and read, Sister Micaiah.
So was she actually Ethiopian?
That's the question. Was she an Ethiopian?
When we read Numbers 12, verse 1, it says, and Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. So here's two main explanations. Okay, some scholars believe Zipporah herself was called Ethiopian or Kushite, possibly because Midianites lived near Kushite territory.
They lived near their territory.
And Kushite was sometimes used to describe dark-skinned people generally.
Yes, like Ethiopia or Kush. Ethiopia means dark people. When you say Ethiopia, because America was called Ethiopia one time, the land of the dark people. Kush, Kushite means the same thing, dark people. Go ahead.
All right. So number 2 is others, including traditions from Josephus and Jasher, suggest Moses may have married an Ethiopian princess earlier when he was a prince in Egypt long before Zipporah, which
we're going to read. We're going to read that in a minute.
That's in Jasher, right?
We're going to read in a minute, chapter 72.
Yeah. So the book of Jasher in chapter 72 and 73.
You see why Jasher is so important? You got to. So when someone tells you that these books are not canonical, they don't read anything. They don't know anything about the Bible. They think they know, but they don't know. Go ahead.
All right. So when we read Jasher chapter 72 and 73, it records that Moses, while in Egypt, fled to Kush and became king there for 40 years. He married Adoniah, daughter of a Kushite king.
So how are they going to know this if they're just reading the regular Bible?
Right.
If you don't read these books, if you don't have this Cepher, you're not going to get all of this stuff. You got to go into the book that Jeremiah gave us. Go ahead and read.
Yep. It says she was the daughter of a Kushite king, Kikianus, but he never consummated the marriage because he did not love her and eventually left.
Yes.
Later in Midian,
it wasn't that he didn't love her. He didn't want to break the covenant he made before the Most High. He had to marry one of his people. She was considered one of Ham's children. She wasn't from Shem. Go ahead.
It says later in Midian, he married Zipporah, the daughter of Ruel or Jethro. So Jasher clarifies that the Ethiopian woman and Zipporah were two different women.
Totally two different women. The lineage of Zipporah: Abraham, Keturah, Midianite, Ryakon, Jethro, Zipporah. This means that Zipporah was a Midianite princess, the daughter of the priest of Midian, which was Jethro, a descendant of Abraham through his wife Keturah, Moses' covenant wife, mother of Gershom and who? Eleazar. Go ahead and finish this, Micaiah.
So Zipporah was a Midianite woman, daughter of Jethro, descended from Abraham through Keturah and Midian. The Ethiopian woman in Numbers 12, verse 1 is most likely not Zipporah, but an earlier Ethiopian princess Moses was tied to per Jasher, as it was a term used by Miriam to slander Zipporah's heritage or complexion. Yes. Either way, Zipporah's true lineage is from Abraham, Keturah, and Midian.
All praise to the Most High. So saying that, let's go ahead and read the book of Jasher. And we're going to start with 72. And let's get a deeper understanding of scripture. You see, one thing about being a Moreh, which means a Hebrew teacher, is that we got to go into the Paleo-Hebrew to break these words down. We go into the Gematria, but more importantly, we got to go into our books. How can you understand the future when you don't know the past? And until you go into the book of the upright, which is called the book of Jasher, you will not get the meat that's in the Bible. Because the Bible is what? The bones. Well, let's go to the flesh and get a deeper understanding of what was really happening there. All praise to the Most High. All right. You should read the same way, okay, because I'm reading it from here. Cool. It says, and he took many of the book of Jasher, chapter 72. I already talked about Balaam, who Balaam was. Y'all know who Balaam was. He ran Ethiopia. Before you, I want you guys to go ahead and read.
Is that verse 1?
No, I'm just going over something right now. I've already went over Balaam, and I've talked about who Balaam was. Balaam is the same man who, when Moses then went out to go to war, the Ethiopians, he came in and told the people, let me be king over you. He convinced them to build walls up around the city. We're going to read this. Balaam is also the same man that we're going to read that cast his staff down, him and his son, and changed their staff into snakes in Egypt. Because when Moses ended up coming into and took over the city, he ran into Egypt. He fled to Kush's children. And he's the one who was considered their magicians. Balaam's the same one who also, by the Moabites, were asked to do what? Curse the children. Mm-hmm. He was asked to curse, but the curses ended up turning to blessings. He would take statues. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? He would make idols and little statues of battles, and he would set them array against each other. And then he would see what they would do. And every time he did it, he saw that Israel always prevailed. And everything would be messed up on the other side. So Balaam said, you know what? I cannot curse them. So the Most High told him, these are blessed people. So I'm giving you a precursor to who Balaam is. He's not just a magician that was in Egypt, but he has a history before that you will not get until you read Jasher. Mm-hmm. So, and it was in those days that there was a great war between the children of Kush and the children of the east. We're in the book of Jasher, chapter 72. And the children of the east and Aram, and they rebelled against the king of Kush, in whose hands they were. So Kikianus, king of Kush, went forth with all the children of Kush, a people numerous as the sands, and he went to fight against Aram and the children of the east, to bring them under subjection. And when Kikianus went out, he left Balaam, the magician, with his 2 sons, to guard the city and the lowest sort of the people of the land. So Kikianus went forth to Aram and the children of the east, and he fought against them and smote them, and they all fell wounded before Kikianus and his people. And he took many of them captives, and he brought them under subjection at the first, and he encamped upon their land and took tribute from them as usual. And Balaam, the son of Beor, when the king of Kush had left him to guard the city and the poor of the city, he rose up and advised with the people of the land to rebel against the king Kikianus, not to let him enter the city when he should come in or come home. And the people of the land hearkened to him, and they swore to him and made him king over them, and his 2 sons for the captains of the army. So they rose up and raised the walls of the city at the 2 corners, and they built an exceedingly strong building. And the 3rd corner they dug ditches without number between the city and the river, which surrounded the whole land of Kush. And they made the waters of the river burst forth there. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a lot of the old maps in America that they show all over the Americas, where they got cities that are in a circle, and then they got camps circled around it, and they got moats and they got stuff around it so that people couldn't come in. This is what it reminds me of. Verse 9. 10. Verse 10, it says, in the 4th corner, they collected numerous serpents by their incantations and enchantments, and they fortified the city and dwelt therein, and no one went out or in before them. And Kikianus fought against Aram and the children of the east, and he subdued them as before, and they gave him their usual tribute, and he went and returned to his land. And when Kikianus, the king of Kush, approached his city, all the captains of the forces with him, they lifted up their eyes and saw that the walls of the city were built up and greatly elevated, so that the men were astonished at this. They couldn't believe when they saw it. Can you imagine you leaving? The walls about 9 feet, but now you look, they're like towers. The men were astonished. Jasher chapter 72, verse 13. And they said to one another, it is because they saw that we were delayed in battle and were greatly afraid of us, Therefore, they have done this thing and raised the city walls and fortified them so that the king of Canaan might not come in battle against them. So the king and the troops approached the city door, and they looked up, and behold, all the gates of the city were closed. And they called to the sentinels, saying, "Open unto us, that we may enter into the city." But the sentinels refused to open to them by the order of Balaam, the magician, their king. They suffered them not to enter into the city. So they raised a battle with them opposite of the city gate. And 130 men of the army at Kikianis fell on that day. And on the next day, they continued to fight, and they fought at the side of the river. They endeavored to pass, but were not able. Some of them sank into the pits and died. So the king ordered them to cut down trees and to make rafts upon which they might pass to them, and they did so. And when they came into the place of the ditches, the waters revolved by mills, and 200 of men upon 10 rafts were drowned. So what happened was when they went to those waters, what did they use, Sister Micaiah? Mills. You ever seen a water mill? What it did was it kept the wave, it kept making waves. So the rafts could not get. They were very ingenious. This was very smart. And on the third day, they came to fight at the side where the serpents were, but they could not approach there, for the serpents slew of them 170 men. And they ceased fighting against Kush, and they besieged Kush for 9 years. No person came out or in. At that time, that the war of the siege war against Kush, Moses fled from Mitzrayim, from Pharaoh, who sought to kill him for having slain the Egyptian or the Mitzri. And Moshe was 18 years old when he fled Mitzrayim from the presence of Pharaoh. And he fled and escaped into the camp of Kikianis, which at that time was besieged by Kush. It was besieging Kush. So basically, when Moses left at 18 years old, and when he finally went into Ethiopia, when he saw this is when this whole battle was going on against Balaam. And Moses ended up joining them. 24 says, the Book of Jasher, chapter 72, verse 24. And the king and the princes and all the fighting men loved Moshe, for he was great and worthy. His stature was like a noble lion. His face was like the sun, and his strength was like that of a lion. He was a counselor to the king. And at the end of 9 years, Kikianis was seized with a mortal disease, and his illness prevailed over him, and he died on the 7th day. So his servants embalmed him and carried him and buried him opposite of the city gate to the north of the land of Mitzrayim. And they built over him an elegant, strong, and high building, and they placed great stones below. So a lot of times when you see these elegant buildings that are underground, where they got great stones below and beneath, a lot of this is when the people of those times would build them to make sure that animals and man could not come in and take these bodies. But of course, we know that Edom, Rome, and these other nations, especially when you go into China, land of Shem, when they find the bodies, they exhume them, take them, and a lot of times they hide them, and multiple times they burnt them. Verse 72, the book of Jasher, chapter 72, verse 28. And the king's scribes engraved upon those stones all the might of their king Kikianis, all his battles which he had fought. Behold, they are written there to this day. Now after the death of Kikianis, king of Kush, it grieved his men and the troops greatly on the account of the war. So they said to one another, "Give us counsel, what we are to do at this time, as we have resided in the wilderness 9 years away from our homes. We need counsel. What do we do?" If we shall, it says here in the book of Jasher, chapter 72, verse 31, if we say we will fight against the city, many of us will fall wounded or killed. And if we remain here in the siege, we shall also die. For now all the kings of Aram and all the children of the east will hear that our king is dead, and they will attack us suddenly in a hostile manner. And they will fight against us and leave us no remnant of us. Now therefore let us go and make a king over us. Let us remain in the siege. It says, let us make a king over us, remain in the siege until the city is delivered unto us. And they wish to choose on that day a man for a king from the army of Kikianis. And they found no object of their choice like Moses to reign over them. So of all the men in their nation. Remember, Moses had a face like a lion. It says that he had a light on him that they couldn't believe. He had the strength of a lion, and he had a light on his face. There was no man that they had, period, that could fight like Moses. So they said that this man would be the best man to put over us. This is why the Ethiopians chose Moses. Remember, he was how old when he went in? 18 years old. And they hastened and stripped off each man his garment and cast him upon the ground. They made a great heap in that place and placed Moshe therein. They rose up and blew with trumpets and called out before him and said, "May the king live! May the king live!" You see, that's not an old saying. I mean, that's not a new saying. That's actually an old saying. There's nothing new, what?
Under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. And all the people and the nobles swore to him to give him for a woman Adoniah, the queen of the Cushite, a woman of Kikianis. And they made Moses king over them that day. So who did they give Moses when they made him king?
Adoniah. She was the queen.
She was the queen. She was Kikianis' wife. But Moses, he knew that he was not supposed to marry a child of Ham's children, that she had to be from the tribe or the bloodline of Shem. And later we know that they had to be from the bloodline of Israel. So let's keep going. 37. And all the people in the nobles swore to him to give for him a woman, Adoniah, the queen of Kush, the woman of Kikianis, and made Moses king over them that day.
Well, verse 38. Some people may be wondering, how would Moses know that he's not supposed to marry outside of his nation, right?
Yeah.
But when you read
earlier
the account of Moses, and what is it? Genesis,
or
Exodus, where his mom wound up raising him, even though he was raised. Well,
Jasher goes into it earlier too.
His mom raised him, so she was able to teach him.
Right, she taught him who he was. Not only that, the reason he ended up killing the Egyptian because he was oppressing one of his people. He knew that he was an Israelite. Moses, but the churches don't teach you that. They teach you that he didn't know who he was. You know, that he just started leading the people later. When he found out, when he came to the burning bush, no. Moses knew since he was a little boy that he was a child of Israel. He always knew that. And he always knew that he wasn't supposed to marry outside of his bloodline. But we already know that was actually Abraham's what? Granddaughter. Later on, who he married and who slept with, had children. But this woman was a child of Ham. She was descendant of Kush. She was one of Cush's.
She was already married to somebody.
Well, no, he was dead. So he was dead.
Okay.
He was dead. Remember, the Bible even tells us that when a woman's husbands die, she's free to remarry. Okay. She's no longer under the law. And all the people in the nobles swore to him to give for him a woman. Okay, we've already read that. Adoniah, the queen, we're on 38. And all the people of Cush issued a proclamation on that day, saying, every man must give something to Moshe of what he has in his possession. So that means everybody had to give him something. And they spread out a sheet upon a heap, and every man cast into it something of what he had, one a gold earring, and another a gold coin, or another a coin. This is the same thing when you start reading about when the Edomites picked the king over them who wasn't of their people. They did the same thing. One of the rituals they had when they picked the king, they would spread a blanket out, and everyone had to come and put something in it that was worth value. So this is what they were doing. Verse 40, it says, Jasher chapter 72, verse 40. Also of onyx stones, bdellium, pearls, and marble did the children of Cush cast into Moshe upon the heap. Also silver and gold in great abundance. And Moshe took all the silver and gold, all the vessels, and the bdellium and the onyx stones, which all the children of Cush had given him, and he placed them amongst his treasures. And Moshe reigned over the children of Cush on that day, in the place of Kikianis, king of Cush. So, again, if you haven't had this book, how are you going to know these things? The Bible doesn't tell you any of these things. It's an outline. But until you get to the Cepher, you'll get the bones, and then you'll get the meat. Then you will stand on your feet.
It connects dots.
It's going to connect the dots. This is how the four winds are blown into you. This is how you stand on your feet. This is how you start testifying to the other nations. Because this is our what?
Profession.
This is our profession. Chapter 73. Go ahead, Sister Cal.
In the 55th year of the reign of Pharaoh, king of Ephraim, that is in the 156th 7th year of Yesharel, going down into Mizraim, reigned Moshe in Kush. Moshe was 27 years old when he began to reign over Kush, and 40 years did he reign. And Yahuwah granted Moshe favor and grace in the eyes of all the children of Kush, and the children of Kush loved him exceedingly. So Moshe was favored by Yahuwah and by men. And in the 7th day of his reign, all the children of Kush assembled and came before Moshe and bowed down to him to the ground. And all the children spoke together in the presence of the king, saying, "Give us counsel that we may see what is to be done to this city. For it is now 9 years that we have been besieging round about the city and have not seen our children and our women." So the king answered them, saying, "If you will hearken to my voice and all that I shall command you, then will Yahuwah give the city into our hands, and we shall subdue it." So 9 years these people have surrounded a city and have not even seen their families. But what did Moses do? He said, let's see what the Most High commands us. Let's be obedient and listen to his voice so that we can get victory.
So Moses, basically, he's saying, listen, your understanding, your wisdom is not getting you into the city. So what we need to do is lean on my God, my Elohim.
Go back to do not lean upon your own
heart.
Understanding.
Yeah, because it's not going to get you anywhere but death. And so Moses says that I'm going to go to my Elohim and let's see what he says.
This is how we should be living our
life. Every day.
Let's see how the Most High guides and directs us. Let's go to him for instruction on how to handle this situation.
And it goes back to that pastor saying that the Cepher is not a accurate book. When you go to men, you will not have any understanding.
But
you will have none.
He's going to him to find out how to subdue another nation, family.
Just like you should be going to him to learn how to subdue all these nations.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Jasher chapter 73, verse 8. For if we fight with them as in the former battle which we had with them before the death of Kikianus, many of us will fall down wounded as before. Now therefore, behold, here is counsel for you in this matter. If you will hearken to my voice, then will the city be delivered into our hands.
Come on.
So all the forces answered the king, saying, all that our Adonai shall command, that will we do. And Moshe said to them, pass through and proclaim a voice in the whole camp to all the people, saying, thus says the king, go into the forest and bring with you of the young ones of the stork, each man a young one in his hand.
Yes.
And any person
So what do they have to go get?
A stork.
A stork. You guys all know what a stork is, right? I want you to start looking at where storks originally or where they at mainly. It's the Americas. Go ahead and read.
13. And any person transgressing the word of the king, who shall not bring his young one, he shall die, and the king will take all belonging to him. And when you shall bring them, they shall be in your keeping. You shall rear them until they grow up, and you shall teach them to dart upon, as is the way of the young ones of the hawk.
Come on. So
yes, they were training the storks, family.
They was training them to dart upon the serpents, to go ahead and grab them, just like they would train a hawk. You ever seen the videos of them men in the Middle East with the hawks? They train them from birth. Some of those hawks are thousands of dollars too. But they train them up since they're little to do certain things, to hunt. So Moses say, just like they do with the hawks, I want you to do with the storks. I want you to train them. Go ahead.
All right. Jasher 73, verse 15. So all the children of Kush heard the words of Moshe, and they rose up and caused a proclamation to be issued throughout the camp, saying, unto you, all the children of Kush, the king's order is that you go all together to the forest and catch there the young storks, each man his young one in his hand, and you shall bring them home. And any person violating the order of the king shall die, and the king will take all that belongs to him.
So I'm going to tell you, I don't know about y'all, but if somebody came to me and say, bro, if you don't go catch a bird out there and bring it, y'all ain't going to have nothing. You don't have no house, no clothes. He going to take everything you own. I'm out in the woods.
Your life.
I'm going to take I'm going to go out there and find me a store. So everybody went out. Go ahead.
Jasher 73, verse 18. And all the people did so. And they went out to the wood, and they climbed the fir trees, and caught each man a young one in his hand, all the young of the storks. And they brought them into the desert, and reared them by order of the king. And they taught them to dart upon, similar to the young hawks. And after the young storks were reared, the king ordered them to be hungered for 3 days. And all the people did so.
So how many days they didn't eat?
3 days.
3 days, 3 is completion. Don't feed them for 3 days. I need them hungry. Go ahead.
Jasher 73, verse 20.
So I think about that. It's symbolic. He told us he was going to throw us in the wilderness for how many days? A time and a half. But after that time, he was going to do what with us? He was going to wake us up, restore us back. Then he said he's going to make us his what? Battle axe. So we can dart upon these other nations. Ain't nothing changed. All of this is symbolic. It's symbolic of what was then and what's going to happen now. He's training us up right now, so we can learn to dart upon the evil, the wicked, the Nephilim spirits. This is what he's doing right now. These are just parallels, folks. All these stories are parallels to what would happen with the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Jasher 73, verse 20. And on the 3rd day, the king said to them, strengthen yourselves and become valiant men, and put on each man his armor, and gird on his sword upon him.
You see that? What are we supposed to do on the 3rd day? What are we supposed to be doing?
It says,
what are we supposed to be doing on the 3rd day?
Strengthen yourselves.
We need to be strengthening ourselves.
That's what we're doing.
What is the whole armor?
Come on.
Sister, what is the whole armor, sis?
Ephesians 6.
What is it?
The armor of the Most High.
What is it?
Well, we want to go there.
Let's go there.
All right.
Folks, I want y'all to understand something.
6.
When you read this word, it's not just that you're reading it and it's just, oh, well, it's a literal. No. These are parallels.
Yeah.
That was carnal, but he's talking about us in the spiritual. See, everything that the Most High did back then was spiritual. It will show, he can show us how we're going to be in these times.
How to withstand in the evil days.
Come on, go ahead and read. Let's read.
Having your loins girded about with truth.
With what?
Truth.
You got to have it girded with truth.
Yes. Having on the breastplate of righteousness.
The breastplate of what?
Righteousness.
This is on that 3rd day.
Your feet shod with the preparation of the Basora of peace.
What is the Basora peace? That word, the truth. And the truth will set you free. But if you haven't studied to show yourself to be approved, and we're at the end of the 3rd day, then you don't have no armor. We got to dart upon the enemy. We got to dart upon these Nephilim spirits that you call demons. He's training us up, and he's been training us up for 3 days or 3,000 years how to dart upon the evil.
Bring it out.
Do y'all not understand that he prepared us for these times?
Come on.
Do you not see the Gentiles catching perpetual hell, and we laughing? Because we've been going through this forever. We ain't tripping out and, worried about money and worried about farmland. And y'all took this from us a long time ago. He's raised us up. And now he's been teaching us how to dart upon the evil.
Yes.
That's why he said, I'm going to make your feet like hinds. I'm going to make you my battle axe. That's why in Ezekiel 37, he says, I'm raising the whole house of Israel. They're going to be my innumerable army. Folks, that's just what he's doing. All these stories are paralleling what's coming in the future.
Yep.
Go ahead, Sister.
Ephesians 6, verse 16. It says, above all, taking the shield of faith.
What? If you don't have faith, Yeshua said, you cannot get in my kingdom.
Come on.
Folks, all of this is symbolic of what's happening now. The 2 witnesses are awake, the northern and the southern tribes. We're standing on our feet. We're telling everybody our bodies have been laid out in the streets for 3 days. Our bodies have been laid out a long time. But now that we're on our feet, they are afraid. They are afraid. And now that they're afraid, guess what's going to happen? A trumpet's finna blow. And he's finna say, come up hither.
Yes.
That's what's going on. I want to give you the parallels of this story versus what's going on right now as we speak.
Yes.
But if you don't have spiritual eyes, if you don't have spiritual ears, how can you ever perceive what you're reading? If you don't know the forward, how can you ever contemplate the latter? Well, yes, Sister Micaiah.
Ephesians 6, verse 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Did he not say we got to go through the fire?
Mm-hmm.
That fire, he says, is of the who? The wicked. The wicked's bringing that fire. But he says that we will be able to quench.
Our faith quenches those fires.
It will take them out. Quenching means that it will put the fire out.
Come on.
That's what it means.
Verse 17 says, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Elohim.
There it goes, right?
So you got to have faith to get the salvation.
But how you going to get faith? Faith's coming by hearing. Hearing by what? By that word. If you ain't in the word, how are you going to have faith? How you have a sword? How you have a shield? How you going to have your buckler, which is a shield that you fight up close?
And even more important, verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit.
In the what?
In the spirit.
In the heart.
And watch in the spirit.
Come on. Too many people pray.
In the Ruach.
And when they pray, they're in the heart. They're in their own bodies. They're not spiritual. Why? Because as soon as it comes out of their mouth, they don't believe. When you pray, you got to believe that prayer. If you got a double mind and a double tongue, you're not unstable in some of your ways, but all your ways. And you cannot comprehend why you're going through what you're going through.
Oh, praises.
I just want to bring that out.
Yes.
I had to bring that out. Because a lot of people, if you're not spiritual, you're not going to see these parallels. This is a parallel of now. Let's keep reading. Jasher, chapter 73.
Verse 20.
Bring it out.
And on the third day, the king said to them, strengthen yourselves and become valiant men, and put on each man his armor, and gird on his sword upon him, and ride each man his horse, and take each his young stork in his hand.
Come on.
And we will rise up and fight against the city at the place where the serpents are.
Then he told us we need to be wise as what?
Serpent.
And gentle as what?
Dove.
He said that the woman's seed gonna fight against the what?
Serpent seed.
Are y'all getting this? Are y'all getting this? I don't know if you getting this.
Man.
I know my wife is hitting her right now as I'm speaking. Are y'all getting this? He was showing us the parallels of what we got to do now.
Come on. Bring it out.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. I feel the Holy Spirit heavy.
Come on.
Come on, let's
Verse
bring it out.
21. It says, and we will rise up and fight against the city at the place where the serpents are.
Come on.
All the people did as the king had ordered.
Boy, we know there's a lot of serpents here.
Come on. Everywhere.
Everywhere we look.
We're
surrounded by serpents.
Keep the grass cut low.
Keep the grass cut what?
Cut low.
Come on, bro. With a spiritual lawnmower.
Shout out to sis for giving me that.
Come on, with a spiritual lawnmower. I love that, Renaya. Thank you.
Yes, Jasher 73:22.
Let's bring it out.
And they took each man his young one in his hand, and they went away. And when they came to the place of the serpents, the king said to them, send forth each man his young stork upon the serpents. And they sent forth each man his young stork at the king's order, and the young storks ran upon the serpents, and they devoured them all and destroyed them out of that place.
Yes.
And when the king and people had seen that all the serpents were destroyed in that place, all the people set up a great shout. Man. And they approached and fought against the city and took it and subdued it. And they entered the city.
One other chase, we heard that when they knew that the things was right, they put up a great shout and they went in. Jericho. Folks, all this is spiritual.
Even when you read Maccabees,
yes,
you know, they were in a situation where they took the enemy's weapons.
That's right.
They had
no weapons, none.
But the Most High. And he still gave them victory.
Yes, he put a spirit on them. They saw this glowing thing out there. They thought it was armies, but the Most High made it look that way so that he could make them think that they were in camp.
And this is why we say,
and they had fear, and that fear was their bondage. That fear is how we won.
Yeah, the enemy wants to disarm you when you're talking about praying to your ancestors, when you put in faith in everywhere but the Most High, when they saying the Bible is fake and this and that.
Your ancestors are dead.
They are disarming you.
Yes, your ancestors are sleeping. They're resting. They have no power. Your power comes from the living Elohim, Yahuwah, and his son, Yeshua. And what he left for us, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit. That's where the power comes. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Exactly.
That's where power on this earth, heaven, and below comes from. And nowhere else. Anything else is foolishness. Anything else. Go ahead, Sister Micaiah.
I'm on verse verse 26. Jasher 73, verse 26.
Y'all seeing it? I want to ask, y'all seeing the parallels here as we speak?
Oh, yeah. People
are y'all seeing these parallels?
Bring it out.
Come on, the Most High is putting his spirit on me right now to bring this out. Go ahead and read, Sister Micaiah.
Verse 26. It says, and there died on that day 1,100 men of the people of the city, all that inhabited the city, but of the people besieging, not one died.
Wait a minute. How many
They didn't lose one.
Not one person died. I want y'all to understand something. When you walk with the Most High and you do what he tells you to do, we don't lose people. The only time we lose people when there's iniquity amongst us. We all know about Jericho. We already know about Acon, how he took the cursed thing. We lost 40 men in the battle. That's when we lose people. Other than that, we didn't lose people. Because righteousness, and we're clothed, we're covered with that cloak. Angels are around us.
Exactly.
We're not fighting alone. We're fighting this battle with our fellow brethren. The angels who say, don't bow down to me. I'm as one of your fellow brethren. The same ones that they're calling the Anunnaki, who is right now communicating with your governments, telling them that they're coming back to gather us, telling them that on a timeline they're coming. These same people right now are trying to get you to be afraid, to worry. The Most High don't want us worrying. Why do you think your president, your Pharaoh, why do you think he's doing things to, as you can tell, that is not good for our people, but at the same time doing 1,000 things that is for our people? You think he wants to do those things? No, he's commanded to do them. He's commanded by the Most High to do them.
And also understand, you see how the Most High is exposing the enemy's weapons.
All of them.
Fear.
Yeah.
Okay. Convenience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deception.
Riches.
Okay.
Yeah. All of that.
These are his weapons.
And these are the weapons he's used.
And fun, entertainment.
And this is
them 4 things.
This is why music and acting and your so-called spiritual leaders are all being used. They're used to exploit those things.
Bring it out.
Book of Jasher, chapter 73,
verse 27.
Go ahead.
So all the children of Kush went each to his home, to his woman and children, and to all belonging to him.
Y'all get that? So after they listened to the Most High, after 3 days, what's going to happen to Israel? We're going to be able to do what? Go home.
Hallelujah. With our family.
But we're going to have our children. And we're going to take sojourners with us. They're going to be dancing. The men are going to be getting old. Y'all get this? Well, what is he going to do in that first resurrection with us? He says he's going to take that stony heart, make it of flesh, and he's going to put his spirit in us. We have no part of the second resurrection. Man, this is deep. These are all parallels. Man.
Jasher 73, verse 28.
Go ahead.
And Balam the magician, when he saw that the city was taken, he opened the gate, and he and his 2 sons and 8 brothers fled and returned to Mizraim, to Pharaoh, king of Mizraim.
So Balaam had 8 brothers. He was 9 boys, but he had 2 sons that went, and they all fled into Egypt. Let's get deeper than that.
Verse 29.
It's going to break down who these men are. Go ahead.
They are the sorcerers and magicians who are mentioned in the Cepher of the Torah, standing against Moshe when Yahuwah brought the plagues upon Mizraim.
So if you got just the Bible, how would you ever know this? You just knew that these men threw down a staff and they were magicians for the Pharaoh, but you had no idea who they are, where they came from. You see how the meat is put in now, the flesh? So you get an understanding now who these people are, the origin of them, and the significance of them. Because this same man, Balaam, had to be destroyed by the Most High. Because he always was put up against the children of Israel. This is deep, folks. This is why it's so important to make sure you get these books. So you can put bone to bone and flesh to flesh. So you can stand on your 2 feet and the 4 winds can be breathed into you. So now you can live again. Because this truth is what set us free. This is what us got us feeling we're living again. I can see the sun now. I love to look at the moon. When the breeze comes now, I enjoy it. This is the difference between life and death. There's a spiritual death and there's a physical death. A lot of people are spiritually dead.
Yes.
But the Most High is waking us up, reviving us, spiritually first, and later he's going to do it physically. Jasher 73.
Verse 30.
Go ahead.
So Moshe took the city by his wisdom.
He took it by his what?
By his wisdom.
So in order for us to take the kingdom, what do we have to use?
Wisdom. But where does that come from?
Above.
That's it.
The knowledge of this world is what? Foolishness. They was using the knowledge of what? The world before. That's why they could never take the city. Moshe said, I got to go inquire.
For 9 years,
for 9
they tried
years.
to do it their way.
9 is the end. 9 is the number that means what?
Completion.
Finality,
Yeah.
completion. But Moshe went to who? The Most High. He told him, I need you to take storks. I want you to train them like the hawks and dart upon the snakes so you can take the city. Are y'all getting this? In order for us to get in the kingdom, we got to use wisdom from above.
Come on.
In order to get into our city. In my Father's house, there's many what?
Mansions.
In my Father's house, there's many what?
Mansions.
So in order for you to get into your city, you got to use wisdom so you can get that key. Without the key, you'll never see that city that's set above.
You can't overcome these fiery trials.
Never.
Your spiritual battle.
Go ahead.
All right. So we're at Jasher 73, verse 30. So Moshe took the city by his wisdom, and the children of Kush placed him on the throne instead of Kikianus, king of Kush. And they placed the royal crown upon his head, and they gave him for a woman Adon-Yahu, the Cushi queen, woman of Kikianus. And Moshe feared Yahuwah Elohim of his father, so that he came not to her, nor did he turn his eyes to her.
So he was 18, but he said he feared who?
The Most High.
So he knew who he was. Churches don't teach you that. Moses knew who he was. His mother, when she was rearing him up, she let him know who he was. Even how spiritual that is for him to be floating on the river. And then the Pharaoh's sister go grab it. But his sister, Moses' sister, came up to her and said, hey, do you want me? She said, I need you to get me a wet nurse. And she went and got his mother. Folks, this is all spiritual. Man, this is deep. Jasher, chapter 73, verse
33.
33. Go
For Moshe remembered how Abraham had made his servant Eliezer swear, saying to him, you shall not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan for my son Yitzhak.
So wait a minute. So who remembered that?
Moses remembered how Abraham, who was his great grandfather or great.
He remembered the story. That's right. That's right. Go ahead. 34.
Also, what Yitzhak did when Yaakov had fled from his brother, when he commanded him, saying, you shall not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of the children of Ham.
So it sounds like to me, Moses knew his history.
Okay.
He knew where he came from.
Yep.
He knew who he was. And y'all got to remember something. The Most High is always with his true children. And back then, he would meet with them face to face. This is amazing.
Now y'all getting more understanding of why they don't want us to know who we are.
Why they don't want you to have the Cepher.
Come on.
Why your pastors who want you to keep tithing to them, they don't want you in this book because you're going to learn that they're not Levites. That the only reason we gave them money is because they did not get a part of the lands. Their inheritance went from above. So all the tribes gave to them. But we all are in slavery. We all been captive. But we're all now being Yisrael, kings, priests, and prophets under the order of Melchizedek.
Bring it out.
We're on a heavenly order right now. Not manly divine, what they call divine manly order. No, it's divine heavenly order.
Come on.
Come on. The book of Jasher, chapter 73, verse
35.
Bring it up.
For Yahuwah Elohim gave Ham, the son of Noah, and his children and all his seed as slaves to the children of Shem.
Wait a minute. I don't know if y'all caught that. All of you who keep talking about you're African. We're African. We're African. We're African. You're not African. Those are Ham's children, which they're not African. They're Ham's children. That's the term that was given them. They come from Ham. We come from who? Shem. Shem had a son named Eber. That's where we get the language of Ivrit from. We all come from Eber. So saying that, it says here that all of Ham's children, read that one more time, please.
It says,
all of you who want to call yourself African.
Jasher 73, verse 35.
Go ahead.
For Yahuwah Eloheinu gave Ham, the son of Noah, and his children, and all his seed as slaves to the children of Shem.
For how long?
And to the children of Japhet, and to their seed after them for slaves forever.
Why did he do that? Remember what Ham did to Noah in the tent?
Now, this is also why those imposters over there stole our identity and oppressed the entire world.
Yep, they wanted to keep you deceived.
They feel like they're entitled to this.
Yes, but it wasn't. We're the ones who Ham's children. Why do you think when you go to YouTube, TikTok, all the Ham's children keep talking about us? Why do you think Ham's children imitate everything we do? The clothing, the dress wear, how we talk. I even seen them jokers over there. They don't even own belts with their pants drop down. And the ones who do got belts, you understand, they don't. And I want you to understand,
over there, they wearing coats.
They're wearing coats and jackets trying to look like us. Yep. Why? Because they were given to us for slaves. They know it. They know this book. Ham's children, who you call yourself African, you are actually calling yourself the slave's name. I just want to give you this. Not what I say, but what's written. And what was already foretold. When Ham ended up doing what he did to Noah's son, the Most High said that Ham's children would be slaves. Because of what their forefathers did. Or their progenitor. They're the same ones who set up Sodom and Gomorrah. 5 sons of Ham set up Sodom and Gomorrah.
Jasher 73, verse 36.
Bring it out.
Therefore Moshe turned not his heart nor his eyes to the women of Kikianis all the days that he reigned over Kush.
Why would he marry one of his slaves? Why would he do that? Huh? No. He didn't do that because he understood the law. He understood his position. And he knew who he was as a people. Contrary to what you've been taught in churches. Or excuse me, not taught.
Right. Jasher 73, verse 37.
Go ahead.
And Moshe feared Yahuwah Eloheinu all his life. And Moshe walked before Yahuwah in truth, with all his heart and soul. He turned not from the right way all the days of his life. He declined not from the way, either to the right or to the left, in which Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov had walked.
Come on now.
And Moshe strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Kush, and he guided the children of Kush with his usual wisdom, and Moshe prospered in his kingdom. And at that time, Aram and the children of the east heard that Kikianis, king of Kush, had died. So Aram and the children of the east rebelled against Kush in those days. And Moshe gathered all the children of Kush, a people very mighty, about 30,000 men, and he went forth to fight with Aram and the children of the east. And they went at first to the children of the east, and when the children of the east heard their report, they went to meet them and engaged in battle with them. And the war was severe against the children of the east. So Yahuwah gave all the children of the east into the hand of Moshe.
Did he say Moses won that, or who gave him those people?
The Most High.
Every time, folks, don't be afraid of these nations. Not one of them. We are a holy people. We are people that the Most High chose, as Deuteronomy 7:6 says, above all people. You should never fear these nations, because he's going to put all of them in our hands. We are the joint heirs of this earth. Know who you are. Understand your anointing. Understand your calling. Remember, he told Jeremiah, I knew you before you what? Came out of the womb. And I anointed you before you came out. Likewise, he did with the 12 tribes. He knows who we are. He has a promise for us. The only thing you got to do is believe. If you believe, you will receive. But you got to believe. Jasher, chapter 73, verse 40. Verse 41.
43.
Go ahead.
It says, and all the children of the east turned back and retreated. So Moshe and the children of Kush followed them and subdued them and put a tax upon them, as was their custom.
Yes.
So Moshe and all the people with him passed from there to the land of Aram for battle, and the people of Aram also went to meet them, and they fought against them.
You know, I just thought about that. He said, so Moshe and all the people with him passed from that land of Aram battle. But when you go to 43, it says he did something with the people when he found them and got them. He put what on them? A tax. Remember he says when we rule with Yeshua and that the Egyptians would be under us and under the rulership, and then the Assyrians. He said that all nations had to do what? Come and bring us what? Alms or taxes, you would call them today. All nations are going to have to come and give to us. Folks, it's all right here. So as the past, so is the future.
Yes.
The past is just a spiritual availing of it's a carnal availing what's going to happen in the spiritual side in the future. All nations are going to have to come, just like they had to back then when he went to these people.
Come on.
Go ahead and read, please.
All right. Where am I at?
45.
Okay. It says, verse 45. Jasher chapter 73, verse 45. And the people of Aram also went to meet them, and they fought against them, and Yahuwah delivered them into the hand of Moshe. And many of the men of Aram fell down wounded. And Aram also were subdued by Moshe and the people of Kush, and also gave their usual tax. And Moshe brought Aram and the children of the east under subjection to the children of Kush, and Moshe and all the people who were with him turned to the land of Kush. And Moshe strengthened himself in the kingdom of the children of Kush, and Yahuwah was with him, and all the children of Kush were afraid of him.
Oh, praise to the Most High. It says, because the fear is the beginning of what? Wisdom.
Fear of the Most High.
Fear of the Most High. But listen, it's just when we say that, that's also showing you something. They had that fear of the Most High. Why? Because they saw how he did what?
They saw he gave his people power and victory.
And he gave it to Moshe. Through Moshe, he saw that through that man, his prayers, him believing in the living Elohim, that they had power to do all the nations before them. So they feared him. They feared Moses because they feared his God. Does that make sense? They feared his Elohim. Book of Jasher, chapter 74. In the end of the years did Shaul, king of Edom, and Balaam and Baal Canaan, the son of Akbor, reign in his place. And in the 16th year of the reign of Moshe over Kush, Baal Canaan, the son of Akbor, reigned in the land of Edom over all the children of Edom for 38 years. In his days, Moab rebelled against the power of Edom, having been under Edom since the days of Hadad, the son of Bedad, and who smote them in Midian and brought Moab under subjection of Edom. When Baal Canaan, the son of Akbor, reigned over Edom, and all the children of Moab withdrew their allegiance from Edom. And Angeas, king of Africa, died in those days, and Azurabel, his son, reigned in his stead. And in those days in those days died Lanius, king of the children of Kittim, and they buried him in the temple which he had built for himself in the plain of Canopia for a residence. And Latinus reigned in his stead. In the 22nd year of the reign of Moshe over the children of Kush, Latinus reigned over the children of Kittim for 45 years. And he also built for himself a great and mighty tower, and he built therein an elegant temple for his residence, to conduct his government as was the custom. And in the 3rd year of his reign, he caused a proclamation to be made to all of his skillful men, who made many ships for him. And Latinus assembled all his forces, and they came in ships, and they went therein to fight against Azurabel, son of Agnias, king of Africa, Angeas, king of Africa. And they came to Africa and engaged in battle with Azurabel and his army. And Latinus prevailed over Azurabel. And Latinus took from Azurabel the aqueduct which his father had brought from the children of Kittim. When he took Yanyahu, the daughter of Uzi, for a woman. So Latinus overthrew the bridges of the aqueduct and smote the whole army of Azurabel, a severe blow. And remaining strong men of the Zerubbabel strengthened themselves, and their hearts were filled with envy. And they courted death, and again engaged in battle with Latinus, the king of Kittim. And the battle was severe upon the men of Africa. And they all fell wounded before Latinus and his people. And Zerubbabel, the king, also fell in the battle. And the king of Zerubbabel had a very beautiful daughter, whose name was Yephazina. And all the men of Africa embroidered her likeness on their garments on account of her great beauty and comely appearance. So she had to be real pretty. It said all the men put her picture on their garments. Wow. And the men of Latinus saw Savina. How would you pronounce her name there? Ashfazena. And the men of Latinus saw Ashfazena, the daughter of Zerubbabel, and praised her unto Latinus, their king. And Latinus ordered her to be brought to him. And Latinus took Ashfazena for a woman, and he turned back on his way to Kittim. Book of Jasher, chapter 74, verse 17. And it was after the death of Zerubbabel, son of Angeas, that Latinus had turned back to his land from the battle, that all the inhabitants of Africa rose up and took Anibal, the son of Angeas, and the younger brother of Zerubbabel, and made him king instead of at his brother over the whole land of Africa. And when he had reigned, he resolved to go into Kittim to fight with the children of Kittim, to avenge the cause of Zerubbabel, his brother, and the cause of the inhabitants of Africa. And he did so. And he made many ships, and he came therein with his whole army, and he went to Kittim. And Anibal fought with the children of Kittim, and the children of Kittim fell wounded before Anibal and his army. And Anibal avenged his brother's cause. And Anibal continued the war 18 years with the children of Kittim. And Anibal dwelt in the land of Kittim and encamped there for a long time. And Anibal smote the children of Kittim very severely, and he slew their great men and princes, and of the rest of the people he smote about 80,000 men. And at the end of the days and years, Anibal returned to his land of Africa, and he reigned secure in the place of Zerubbabel, his brother. So Anibal, is that Hannibal? Hannibal did a great war with Latinus, yeah. I believe it is, but we're going to say Anibal, yes. All praises. Oh, what are you, chapter 74?
75. Jasher 75, verse 1. At that time, in the 185th year of Yesharel, going down into Mizraim, there went forth from Mizraim valiant men, 30,000 on foot, from the children of Yesharel, who were all of the tribe of Joseph, of the children of Ephraim, the son of Joseph. For they said the period was completed, which Yahuwah had appointed to the children of Yesharel in the times of old, which he had spoken to Abraham. And these men girded themselves, and they put each man his sword at his side, and every man his armor upon him. And they trusted to their strength, and they went out together from Mizraim with a mighty hand. But they brought no provision for the road, only silver and gold, not even bread for that day did they bring in their hands. For they thought of getting their provision for pay from the Palestine, and if not, they would take it by force. And these men were very mighty and valiant men. One man could pursue 1,000, and two could rout 10,000. So they trusted to their strength and went together as they were. And they directed their course toward the land of Gath. And they went down and found the shepherds of Gath feeding the cattle of the children of Gath. And they said to the shepherds, "Give us some of the sheep for pay, that we may eat, for we are hungry. For we have eaten no bread this day." And the shepherds said, "Are they our sheep or cattle that we should give them to you even for pay?" So the children of Ephraim approached to take them by force. And the shepherds of Gath shouted over them that their cry was heard at a distance. So all the children of Gath went out to them. And when the children of Gath saw the evil doings of the children of Ephraim, they returned and assembled the men of Gath.
So
and they
this is important. One thing about the children of Ephraim at this time is something we got to understand. Everything that's written in this book has a time period.
Yeah.
You can't supersede biblical prophecy. The men of Ephraim, who were Joseph's children, they decided that they wanted to go ahead and supersede prophecy, where they would have a deliverer. So they said, you know what? We're not going to be waiting on no deliverer. We're going to take it in our own hands. Matter of fact, we're strong and bigger than all these other people. We're going to do this by our strength, because they said they were some powerful men. So saying that, they thought that they can go out before biblical prophecy. Folks, you cannot supersede prophecy. No one can beat prophecy. This is why when our people of America start running to Africa, running these other places, when he told he was going to throw us here and nourish us for a time and a half, they're trying to beat prophecy and run into lands that got curses on them. This is why this story is so important, to show that you do not try to thwart prophecy like they did. They didn't want to wait on Moses. They didn't want to deliver.
They didn't want to wait on the Most High.
That's what I'm saying, but the Most High was giving Moses to deliver them. They did not want to wait on the biblical prophecy to have a deliverer. So saying that is so important, folks, that we follow these scriptures precept by precept, line by line. None of you should be running to places when he said that he was going to put us in the wilderness for a time to nourish us. He said, I'm going to gather you from the four corners of the earth, not you gather yourselves. And this is what we got to understand. We got to wait on the Most High, but we got to get out of Babylon and don't do what they do. This is how we sit and store up treasures, by reading these scriptures, studying, show ourselves to be approved, and making sure that we got the whole armor on ourselves.
And we're living our life accordingly.
Yeah. Walking righteously.
Action.
Yeah. Book of Jasher, chapter 75, verse.
One more thing to bring out is the Most High have a set time for everything. So even your fiery trial, it's a set time for it. Yeah. Okay.
But you can keep that time going by the things you do. You can keep them fiery trials going because you don't know the word. You don't understand when you're sinning because you don't read it. You don't know the Torah. You don't know his laws. We should be doing them spiritually. Circumcision of the heart and the mind. That's when problems come in. We lean on our what? Own understanding. The book of Jasher, chapter 75,
verse 10. And when the children of Gath saw the evil doings of the children of Ephraim, they returned and assembled the men of Gath. And they put on each man his armor and came forth to the children of Ephraim for battle. And they engaged with them in the valley of Gath, and the battle was severe, and they smote from each other a great many on that day. And on the second day, the children of Gath sent to all the cities of the Philistines that they should come to their help, saying, Come up to us and help us, that we may smite the children of Ephraim, who have come forth from Mizraim to take our cattle and to fight against us without cause. Yes. Now the souls of the children of Ephraim were exhausted with hunger and thirst, for they had eaten no bread for 3 days, and 40,000 men. There go three forth. Again. Isn't that three again? There it goes. Go ahead. And 40,000 men went forth from the cities of the Philistines to the assistance of the men of Gath. And these men were engaged in battle with the children of Ephraim. And Yahuwah delivered the children of Ephraim into the hands of the Philistines. Yes. And they smote all the children of Ephraim, all who had gone forth from Mizraim. None were remaining, but 10 men who had run away from the engagement. For this evil was from Yahuwah against the children of Ephraim, for they transgressed the word of Yahuwah in going forth from Mitzrayim. Yes. Before the period had arrived, which Yahuwah in the days of old had appointed to Yesharel.
So he appointed days for us that we will be delivered. He says, but before I deliver you, I'm going to throw you into a wilderness. But that wilderness is going to nourish you for a time and a half. But on the third day, I'm going to raise you up. I need you to stay where I took you. And if you look at the rest of the world, they're going through perpetual hell. Look at the lands where the Most High took us from. A lot of our people. We ran here in 722. This land was full of giants. And we came in and took out the Moabites, the Canaanites, all the Jebusites, all the ites. We took them out and took the land. Let's think about that land over there with Benjamin, Levi, and Judah, which was called Jerusalem. That these bastards in Ashdod, which is a small town of Jerusalem, live. They're bastards, as the scriptures say. Let's look at these lands right now. When our people go running over there, what's going on over there right now, those who ran to Israel?
Man, they're in a bad situation.
Bad situation. Not listening.
Now, thankfully, 50 of them families
got out.
They were forced out.
But the Most High, they weren't forced.
The Most High was behind that.
Yeah, what was that land called? Demona, where we had the Israelite camps there. But the Most High pulled them out, and I said that to you back then. He's finna pull them out before he brings destruction. Remember, we owned that land.
More than 50 families living there now.
Well, I know, but there's still some didn't want to leave.
Right.
So what he does is, if you don't hearken to him, and you don't listen, you're going to be destroyed. He took us out. A lot of our people, ran to Africa in 70 AD. But a lot of our people, we're not from Africa. We're already here. This is our land. 10 tribes been here forever.
And this is why it's important also to read these books, to understand the Most High will bring evil on you for being disobedient. And he will.
Look at our people who ran to Africa. A lot of our women been unalive.
Man.
A lot of our men who built big houses and
built businesses there,
and
then they come and take.
What did they do? What did they do? What did they do with Sodom and Gomorrah? They took it. Folks, you don't know your past, so you can't understand history in the future. What you should do and should not do. The Most High took us away from that place. A lot of our people, because you got to remember when you deal with Africa, the northern part of Africa, which was called Jerusalem. It wasn't considered, and that place wasn't even called Africa back then. So saying that, our people ran out of there in 70 AD. A lot of them ran to Spain. They were called the Jews. A lot of them ran into what you would call Russia. A lot of them ran into what you would call Britain. But we've been all over the world. We was new as the sands of the sea, folks. But the Most High told us to sit still. I'm going to send my angels to gather you. And folks, all of y'all see the angels are coming in every day. Right or wrong, sis?
Yeah. Now look
Come
how
on, every day they're coming.
They're trying to bait us into protesting out there and all this kind of stuff.
They can't figure out why it don't work. They can't figure out why it ain't working. It's not working because the Most High put a spirit on us to sit still. Get some popcorn out. Start eating real slow. I'm going to let you see. I'll take every one of them. As the book of Isaiah say, I'm going to take the man away from you. He says what? Little by little. Because if I don't take them away from you little by little, the beast will overrun you. Men are considered beasts. So other nations will come in and take over us. But then he also talked about the animals that would take over. It's twofold. Folks, you cannot supersede biblical prophecy. He said, I'm going to send my angels to gather you where I disperse you from the four corners of the earth.
And there's an appointed time.
And there's an appointed time for that. And this is definitely that time. But right now, he's got to revive us spiritually first. Then when the angels come and swing low, sweet chariot to carry us home, you have some oil in your lamps. This is the time to fill your lamps now. This is the time to make sure that your wick is lit.
To be strengthened.
To be strengthened. So when all these things come upon you, around you, you don't have no fear. Did he not say in Psalm 91, 10,000 fall by one side, 100,000 by the other, but nothing will come not near you or your dwelling? Did he not say, I'm going to take you up in the palm of my hand? Did he not say that I'm going to surround you like an eagle's feathers? Folks, we got to read this book and even divide this word. Stop listening to men. Always going to these scriptures. But if you don't have the scriptures, how will you ever have understanding?
Exactly.
If you don't have this Cepher, if you ain't got the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Septuagint, the King James 1611, the Apocrypha, how are you going to ever know where you're going? Why do you think they told you that King James was a YT man? Because they don't want you reading your books.
Or that it's plagiarized.
They don't want you reading it. Not the new King James, but the original, the 1611.
This is our sword, family.
Come on, man. And we cut them. Sword. And we cut them every time they come with that foolishness.
And your faith is built by hearing these words. So come on, they want to disarm you.
They don't want you to speak them. Once you speak words first, have frequencies. These frequencies cast out demons. They cast out all that soothsaying, fortune telling, necromancing. It makes them flee. There's frequencies. Why do you think that high pitch is in your ear? You're being fine-tuned. Do you know, and I'm going to say it again, that man who was with NASA said that the ships underwater that are activated, that the only way you can get on them, you have to have a certain what? Frequency. And he said the only people that has that frequency are the so-called minorities. Who they call minorities today? Us. Folks, everything can be explained with this book. Let's keep reading. The Book of Jasher, chapter 75.
Verse 18.
Go ahead.
It says, and of the Pelishtim also there fell a great many, about 20,000 men, and their brethren carried them and buried them in their cities. And the slain of the children of Ephraim remained forsaken in the valley of Gath for many days and years, and were not brought to burial. And the valley was filled with men's bones.
Come on.
And the men who had escaped from the battle came to Mitzrayim and told all the children of Yesharel all that had befallen them. And understand now, the Most High always will do that. He out of 30,000 that left, 10 survived to come back and warn the others.
I think it was 40,000, wasn't it?
No, it says 30.
Was it 30,000? Okay.
Yeah. 30,000 on foot from the children of Yesharel. Okay. From the tribe. The verse 1 tells us it was 30,000. Yes.
So, and only 10 made it back.
Only 10.
Oh, praise to the Most High.
And it says here, in the verse 20, and the men who had escaped from the battle came to Mitzrayim and told all the children of Yesharel all that had befallen them.
Yes.
And their father Ephraim mourned over them for many days, and his brethren came to console him. And he came to his woman, and she bore a son, and he called his name Beriah, for she was unfortunate in his house.
Oh, praise to the Most High. So, the Book of Jasher, chapter 77, Adakim.
What about 76?
Oh, that's okay. Sorry, I thought I was on it. Okay, I don't hit it and realize it. All right, the Book of Jasher, chapter 76. And Moshe, the son of Amram, was still king in the land of Kush in those days, and he prospered in his kingdom and conducted the government of the children of Kush in justice and in righteousness and integrity. And all the children of Kush loved Moshe all the days that he reigned over them. And all inhabitants of the land of Kush were greatly afraid of him. And in the 40th year of his reign of Moshe over Kush, Moshe was sitting on the royal throne, while Adoniah, the queen, was before him, and all the nobles were sitting around. So imagine Moses sitting there, the queen is sitting there, and you got all the noblemen sitting around. Man, this is what she said. And Adoniah, the queen, said before the king and the princes, what is this thing which you and the children of Kush have done for this long time? Now, I'm surprised she just spoke out, because this man ain't touched her the whole time. So you would think she'd have been spoke out and said something. You know, surely you know for 40 years that this man has reigned over Kush. He has not approached me, nor has he served the Elohim of the children of Kush. So basically she's telling them, y'all put this man over us, but he don't even look at us like he look at y'all put him over us, but he don't even want to touch me.
And he serves a different God.
He don't even serve our God. What are you doing? This is what she said. The Book of Jasher, chapter 76, verse 6. Now therefore, hear, O ye children of Cush, and let this man no more reign over you, as he has not, for he is not of our flesh. He's not one of us. Behold, Menacrus, my son, is grown up. Let him reign over you, for it is better for you to serve the son of your Adonai than to serve a stranger, slave of the king of Mitzrayim. And all the people and the nobles and the children of Cush heard the words which Adonai, the queen, had spoken in their ears. And all the people were preparing until the evening. And in the morning they rose up early and made Menacrus, son of Kikanias, king over them. And all the children of Cush were afraid to stretch forth their hand against Moshe, for Yahuwah was with Moshe. And all the children of Cush remembered the oath which they swore unto Moshe. Therefore they did not harm him. They did no harm to him. But the children of Cush gave many presents to Moshe and sent him from them with great honor. And so Moshe went from the land of Cush, and he went home and ceased to reign over Cush. And Moshe was 66 years old when he went out of the land of Cush. For the thing was from Yahuwah. For the period had what?
Arrived.
For the period had what?
Arrived.
Which he had appointed in the days of old to bring forth Israel from the affliction of the children of Ham. So it's something deep, man. The Most High waited till Moses was 66 years old And that's ironic, you know. I think about 6 is what? It represents man, you know. That's deep. 2 6s represents
that's 12. 6
that's
plus 12. 6 is 12.
12, yes, that's deep.
Time for him to bring his nation
the 12
out of
tribes
captivity.
Out.
Come on now.
That's 6 plus 6. Then you know what? It's time to bring the 12 tribes out. It's deep.
With 12, it has to do with governments,
nations. Yes, yes. So Moshe went to Midian, for he was afraid to return to Mitzrayim, and on account of Pharaoh. And he went and he sat at the well of the water in Midian. And the servants and the 7 daughters of Raul, we know his name was also Jethro, the Midianite, went out to feed their father's flocks. And we also learned that he was also a what? A priest. He was also a priest of Midian. He was Abraham's what?
Father. Son.
Son. That's right. He was his son. And they came to the well and drew water of the water. Well, Raul wasn't. I believe Raul was the son of Midian.
Right. Abraham,
that's who he was. Son. His son. Yeah, he was a son. So
Abraham was his grandfather.
Yes, there you go. And they came to the well and drew water to the water of their father's flock. So the shepherds of Midian came and drove them away. And Moshe rose up and helped them and watered the flock, because he could do what? He could fight. He could fight. That's all he does. And he had the strength of what? A lion. And they came home to their father Raul and told him what Moshe did for them. And they said, a mystery man had delivered us from the hands of the shepherds. Mystery, we know, means Egyptian. And he drew water for us and watered the flock. Raul said to his daughter, and where is he? Wherefore have you left the man?
Wherefore means why.
Why have you left him? And Raul sent for him and fetched him and brought him home. And he ate bread with him. And Moshe related to Raul that he had fled from Mitzrayim, and that he had reigned 40 years over Kush, and that afterwards he had taken the government from him and had sent him away in peace with honor and with presents. But Raul didn't believe him. And when Raul heard the words of Moshe, Raul said within himself, I will put this man into prison house, wherefore I shall conciliate the children of Kush, for he has fled from them. I need to go ask them what's going on. It's another thing what got me with this. Mm-hmm. He said he was going to conciliate with them, but Moses sat there for what, almost 10 years or so? So this is what I didn't understand. He never really went and talked to the people.
Again, showing how in the past they like to throw us in prison.
Yeah, and he didn't even talk to the people. Mm-hmm. He said he was going to do it, but he didn't do it, obviously. And they took and put him into the prison house. And Moshe was in prison 10 years. And while Moshe was in prison house, the daughter of Cepher, the daughter of Raul, took pity over him and supported him with bread and water all the time. But who was really putting that spirit on her to do this?
The Most High.
The Most High was doing that. And all the children of Israel were yet in the land of Mitzrayim, serving the Mitzrayim in all manner of hard work. And the hand of the Mitzrayim continued in severity over the children of Israel in those days. And at that time, Yahuwah smote the Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, and he afflicted him with the plague of leprosy from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head, owing to the cruel treatment of the children of Israel. This was the plague at that time from Yahuwah upon the Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim. For Yahuwah had hearkened to the prayer of his people, the children of Israel, and their cry reached from them. And the hand of the Pharaoh was still stretched out against the children of Israel. And the Pharaoh hardened his neck before Yahuwah, and he increased his yoke over the children of Israel, and embittered their lives with all manner of hard work. Does that sound familiar?
Yep.
Does that sound familiar like today with the Pharaoh and the so-called presidents today? Even though they know who we are, they know we are the children. What do? Instead of did they ever give us the 40 acres and the mule? Huh? To ease our burdens?
They just transformed how slavery looked. That's all they did.
They increased our labor. They didn't
abolish it.
They increased our labor. Just like then, it's just like now. And when Yahuwah, Book of Jasher, chapter 76, verse 28. And when Yahuwah had inflicted the plague upon Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, he asked his wise men and sorcerers to cure him. And his wise men and sorcerers said unto him that if the blood of the little children were put into the wounds, he would be healed.
Man, do that not sound familiar?
Now, I'm just talking to y'all right now. For entertainment purposes only. What do your actors do with an adrenochrome?
Not even just the actors. What do the rulers
do? This is why these shipping containers have been full of little ones. Folks, there's nothing new, what? Under the sun.
At all.
This is what this man was directed to do.
We're dealing with the descendants of these people. Understand that.
There you go. And we got to remember, Balaam, I believe Balaam was an Edomite, you know, and he's the one that was giving wisdom to this man. It says again, Jasher, chapter 76, and the wise men and the sorcerers said unto him, that if the blood of the little children were put into the wounds, he would be healed. And Pharaoh hearkened to them and sent his ministers to Goshen, to the children of Israel, to take their little children. Man, familiar,
what have y'all been seeing?
All these babies missing?
But not only that, a lot of women having these babies in the hospitals, and they're bringing in
you gotta be careful what you say.
To take them babies.
You gotta be careful because they'll shut this, you know. So there's a lot going on. So just say everything's been parallel.
It's coming around full circle.
Yeah. So the Pharaoh's ministers went and took the infants of the children of Israel from the bosoms of their mothers by force.
That's what I just said.
Jeez, I just think about that lady when they took one of her babies and
the baby was in their custody.
We're gonna say D Axe, we'll leave it there. Took the baby, and guess what happened? The first one was unalive. Then they came in and took a second baby.
Yeah.
Folks, there's nothing new in the sun when it comes to our people. And the Pharaoh's ministers went and took the infants of the children of Israel from the bosoms of their mothers by force, and brought them to Pharaoh daily, a child each day. And the physicians unalived them and applied them to the plague. Thus did they do all their days. And the number of the children which the Pharaoh slew was 375. So it was 375 babies he did this to. But Yahuwah hearkened not to the physicians of the king of Mitzrayim. And the plague went on increasing mightily. And the Pharaoh was 10 years afflicted with the plague. Still the heart of the Pharaoh was more hardened against the children of Israel. And at the end of 10 years, Yahuwah continued to afflict Pharaoh with destructive plagues. You know what I think about right now? I think about your Pharaoh right now who's running this place. They showing him like with a diaper on and brown stuff coming from the diaper. They showing him walking and stuff.
Even the previous Pharaoh.
Yes, them wetting themselves.
His mind was gone.
Mine is gone. They're talking about the Pharaoh right now. If I think about it, let's look at his hands.
Yeah.
With the blotches.
Swollen ankles.
Swollen ankles. Those are called plagues, folks. Just like the Most High afflicted them for afflicting us in the latter days, he's doing the same time now. He's afflicting these pharaohs right now.
And see how it says he didn't heal them.
No.
He didn't allow what they were doing to heal his situation. It got worse.
It's going to get worse. So your Pharaoh's plague here right now, they're going to get worse. This is just a blueprint. That's why you got to have Old Testament and New Testament. The Old Testament is just revealing the spiritual things that's going to happen in the New.
This is why they took this
out of King James. That's why they don't want you to read it. They don't want you to know that everything you're seeing. This is why my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
If you knew these things, you can understand and comprehend what you're seeing right now. But if you haven't read it, when you see the Pharaoh going through what he's going through right now with losing his bowels, with blotches on his hands, with the swollen ankles, you will not realize that he's been afflicted because he's over and has the authority to ease Israel's pain. But he knows. That's why he said, I'm not going to Mar-a-Lago. I'm not going there because I've seen them chariots flying over. I'm not going back there. This is why he went ahead and signed a decree to release all the records from the Smithsonian Institute because he's been told to. This is why he went and signed off on the Indian tribes, our people, to give them the lands back because he's been told to. But at the same time, guess what? The Most High still gonna harden his heart. Why? So he can show us the power when he delivers from here. That's why 1 Corinthians 15:52, it says it's the last trump. And when that trumpet blows, he's going to say, come up hither. And when he does, he says they're going to be amazed at the salvation of the Israelites. Are these the ones we count their lives as nothing? We thought their life was nothing. But now they're going to find out that we are those ones who are the salt of the earth. And we leave, this place ain't going to have no flavor. None. The book of Jasher, chapter 76, verse 35. And at the end of 10 years, Yahuwah continued to afflict Pharaoh with destructive plagues. Yahuwah smote him with the bad tumor and sickness of the stomach, and the plague that turned to a severe boil. And at that time, the two ministers of Pharaoh came from the land of Goshen, where all the children of Israel were, and went to the house of the Pharaoh and said to him, "We have seen the children of Israel slacken in their work and negligent in their labor." And when the Pharaoh heard the words of his ministers, his anger was kindled against the children of Israel exceedingly, for he was greatly grieved at his bodily pain. And he answered and said, "Now that the children of Israel know that I am ill, they turn and scoff at us. Now, therefore, harness my chariots for me, and I will betake myself to Goshen, and I will see the scoff of the children of Israel, with which they are deriding me." Or what did that mean? Belittling me. So that his servants harnessed the chariot for him. And they took and made him ride upon a horse, for he was not able to ride for himself. And he took with him 10 horsemen and 10 footmen, and went to the children of Israel to Goshen. And when they had come to the border of Mitzrayim, the king's horse passed into a narrow place, elevated in a hollow part of the vineyard, fenced on both sides, a low plain country, being on the other side. And the horses ran rapidly in that place and pressed against each other. And the other horses pressed the king's horse. And the king's horse fell into the low plain. And while the king was riding upon it, and when it fell, the chariot turned over the king's face, and the horses lay upon the king. And the king cried out, for his flesh was what? Very sore. And the king, get this, and the flesh of the king was torn from him, and his bones were broken, and he could not ride. For this thing was from who? Yahuwah to him. For Yahuwah had heard the cries of who? His people, the children of Israel, and what?
Their affliction.
What is he hearing right now?
The cries of his people.
And he's seeing our affliction. This is why your Pharaoh is being afflicted right now. You didn't know why. You can understand. Why all of a sudden is he losing his bowels? Why all of a sudden he got boiled? Why all of a sudden his ankles are swollen? Because the Most High hears our affliction. And he knows that this man was trying to go ahead and set up things to reverse things that were done a long time ago. And so saying that, what he's doing is he's putting the plagues on them. Folks, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yep.
Verse 76, 46. Jasher. The book of Jasher, chapter 76, verse 46. And his servants carried him upon their shoulders, a little at a time, and they brought him back to Mitzrayim. And the horsemen who were with him came also back to Mitzrayim. And they placed him in his bed, and the king knew that his end was come to die. So Ephraim, the queen, his woman, came and cried before the king. And the king wept with a great weeping with her. And all his nobles and servants came on that day and saw the king in its affliction, and wept with great weepings with him. And the princes of the kings and all their councils advised the king to cause one to reign in his stead in the land, whomsoever he should choose from his sons. And the king had 3 sons and 2 daughters, which Ephraim the queen, his woman, had borne unto him, besides the king's children of concubines. These were their names: the firstborn, Orthri; the second, Adakim; and the third, Moron; and their sisters and their names of the elders, Bathra, and the other, Akuzi. And the Orthri, the firstborn of the king, was an idiot, participate and hurried in his words. So he was the type that couldn't speak well. He was, he couldn't speak well at all. But Adakim was a cunning and a wise man, and knowing in all the wisdom of Mitzrayim, but an unseemly aspect. What does that mean, Sister Micaiah?
He wasn't the best looking.
He was thick in flesh and very short in stature. His height was only 1 cubit.
Short and fat. He
was short. So a cubit is an angel's cubit, which is 18 foot tall, which is from the pit of the arm to the tip of the finger. So saying that, he was probably about 4 feet tall, something like that. And when the king saw that Adakim, his son, intelligent and wise in all things, the king resolved that he should be king in the stead after his death. And he took for him a woman, Godiah, daughter of Albalat, and he was 10 years old, and she bore to him 4 sons. And he afterwards went and took 3 women and begot 8 sons and 3 daughters. And the disorder greatly prevailed over the king, and his flesh stink like the flesh of a carcass cast upon the field in summertime during the heat of the sun. Have you guys seen the video clips of when your Pharaoh today is around certain people that cover their nose and they say there's a smell? Just giving it to you guys. And the disorder greatly prevailed over the king, and his flesh stank like the flesh of a carcass cast upon the field in summertime, during the heat of the sun. So imagine a carcass or dead body in the heat of the sun in the summertime, and it's just sitting there for a while. Imagine that stench. This is how that man smelt to everyone around him. And when the king saw that his sickness had greatly strengthened itself over him, he ordered his son Adakim, and he brought him, and he made him king over the land in his place. And at the end of 3 years, the king died in shame, disgrace, and disgust. And his servants carried him and buried him in the sepulchre of the kings of Ephraim and Thyson Mizraim. And they embalmed him not. It said they did what?
They didn't embalm him.
They did not embalm him. It says not as was usual with the king. Why not? For his flesh was putrid, which means it stank so bad that they could not approach to embalm him on account of the stench. So they buried him in haste. So he didn't even get a proper burial because of the affliction that he put on the people of Israel. He didn't even have a proper burial as a king. For this evil was from Yahuwah to him. For Yahuwah had requited of him evil for the evil which in his days he had done to Israel. And he died with terror and with shame. And his son Adakim reigned in his place. This is deep. Man, this is deep. What chapter you on?
Jasher chapter 77, verse 1. It says, Adakim was 20 years old when he reigned over Mizraim. He reigned 4 years.
So he had a short reign. Short reign.
In the 206th year of Yeshua's going down to Mizraim, the Adakim reigned over Mizraim, but he continued not so long in his reign over Mizraim as his fathers had continued their reigns. From Malal, his father reigned 94 years in Mizraim, but he was 10 years sick and died, for he had been wicked before Yahuwah.
If a man does good at the beginning of his life, none of the bad is remembered. But if he does bad at the end of his life, none of the good is remembered. So everything that he had done, those 90 years, was wiped away. All people remember was how he stank and was putrid. You know, they didn't remember all the good years. They remembered is all the terrible things he went through for those 10 years. Go ahead.
Jasher 77, verse 4. And all the Mizraim called the name of Adakim Pharaoh, like the name of his fathers, as was their custom to do in Mizraim. And all the wise men of Pharaoh called the name of Adakim Ahuz, for short is called Ahuz in the Mizraim language. And Adakim was exceedingly ugly, and he was a cubit and a span, and he had a great beard which reached to the soles of his feet. And Pharaoh sat upon his father's throne to reign over Mizraim, and he conducted the government of Mizraim in his wisdom. And while he reigned, he exceeded his father and all the preceding kings in wickedness.
Come on, he
increased his yoke over the children of Yeshuel. And he went with his servants to Goshen.
He had that short man syndrome going on. He had to prove
Napoleon
something.
complex.
What they call that, Napoleon complex?
Yes.
He wanted to prove something. Just because I'm short don't mean that I can't be better and more powerful. That was his mindset. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Jasher 77, verse 9. And he went with his servants to Goshen to the children of Yeshuel, and he strengthened the labor over them. And he said to them, complete your work, each day's task, and let not your hands slacken from our work from this day forward, as you did in the days of my father.
Come on.
And he placed officers. He placed officers over them.
What did he place over them?
Don't that sound like overseers? Officers?
What we call them, police what?
Come on.
Officers.
Same thing.
They repeat the same thing, folks. He put officers over them.
Yep.
Just like in this society. What do they put over us?
Officers.
Police officers.
But look where he chose them from.
Come on.
From amongst the children of Yeshuel. There it goes.
Y'all see that?
The other.
You see what he did?
Our own against us.
Y'all seen the Django? Huh?
Man, come on.
What's that actor named? The old Samuel Jackson. Man, he was the worst. He was worse than the folks who was oppressing the people. That was a prime example of what they did back then.
Yeah.
They would put our own people over them as officers. This is deep.
It says, and over these officers, he placed taskmasters from amongst his servants.
So basically, the officers today got what?
Come on.
Taskmasters who tell them what to do. Who tell them, listen, what did Trump do when he came in? He said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the data banks and erase everything that they did.
Yeah.
So that they can't get in trouble if they're caught. Yeah. That's the taskmasters.
Come on.
Because he appointed people over them to do that. Folks, there's nothing new under the sun when you read these books.
Period.
The same thing back then is the same thing happening now.
Sure enough.
You got taskmasters over your police, and they tell them what they can do, what they can't do, how to move and how not. And then look at your so-called officers today. Most of them are KK. Y'all already know the other letter. So back then they put our people, but now they put their people. Because a lot of our people won't carry out what they want. But then there are those who do. Remember those 5 brothers who end up going to prison because of the brother they beat up so bad? But you got these other ones who are their people who don't get no time. I want y'all to see what's going on here. You have taskmasters over your officers today. Let's keep reading.
Jasher 77, verse 11. And he placed over them a measure of bricks for them to do according to that number day by day. And he turned back and went to Mizraim. At that time, the taskmasters of Pharaoh ordered the officers of the children of Yisrael according to the command of Pharaoh, saying...
Wait a minute. So at that time, the taskmasters of who? The Pharaoh. They ordered who?
The officers
of children of Israel to do what? The command according to who?
The Pharaoh.
They have to listen to who?
That Pharaoh.
It comes from the top. It comes from the top.
Pyramid structure.
It comes from the top. This is why your Pharaoh says, I'm going to federalize the police officers. I don't know if
and they've already been.
I don't know if y'all gotten this. Go ahead, let's go.
Jasher 77:13. Thus says Pharaoh, do your work each day and finish your task and observe the daily measure of bricks, diminish not anything. And it shall come to pass that if you are deficient in your daily bricks, I will put your young children in their stead.
So he says, what I'm going to do, if you're deficient in bricks, I'm going to come to you and take your babies and I'm going to place them in the place of the bricks.
Yeah.
Folks, it's the spirit of these people still today.
Yeah.
If you don't do what we want, we'll take your children and we'll do things with them. I just want y'all to see what's going on. There's nothing new.
Jasher 77:15.
That water next to you, please.
Oh, dang.
It's about gone.
All right, Papa, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, it says, and the taskmasters of Mizraim did so in those days as Pharaoh had ordered them. And whenever any deficiency was found in the children of Yisrael's measure, hold on, I need some of that too.
Go ahead.
You know, the Holy Spirit
boy, you get dry, boy.
You know, make your
when
mouth
you bring out points,
up.
man, it's like that heat, that fire, man, boy. You can feel parched. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that if you are deficient in okay, I got that. 15. And the taskmasters of Mizraim did so in those days as Pharaoh had ordered them. And whenever any deficiency was found in the children of Yisrael's measure of their daily bricks, the taskmasters of Pharaoh would go to the women of the children of Yisrael and take infants of the children of Yisrael to the number of bricks deficient.
I think about those men who told those women of Israel, the rich men sitting around the table, that we need your eggs. We need your uterus.
Yep.
Folks, there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun.
Go ahead.
They would take them by force from their mother's laps and put them in the building instead of the bricks, while their fathers and mothers were crying over them and weeping.
Y'all
when
hear
they
this?
heard the weeping voices of their infants in the wall of the building.
Can you imagine that? I probably one of the brothers, y'all, we need to do something, man. They're taking our babies. We got to do something against them. When they come, let's take them out. But the Most High didn't put a spirit on them to say that. He didn't put a spirit on them to say that. What he did was he allowed these things to happen so prophecy could be fulfilled. But can you imagine someone coming and taking your little ones, taking them and then putting them in the place of a brick in a wall, and then you hear the baby crying?
Man, that's wild.
Let's keep going, please.
It
Jasher
says,
77, verse
18. And the taskmasters prevailed over Yeshuel that the Yeshuralim should place their children in the building, so that a man placed his son in the wall and put mortar over him, while his eyes wept over him, and his tears ran down upon his child. And the taskmasters of Mitzrayim did so to the babes of Yeshurel for many days, and no one pitied or had compassion over the babes of the children of Yeshurel.
Wait a minute. Don't that sound familiar? When you see these YT young ones missing, you got on milk cartons, you got on task boards. Well, we can lose 45 children in one day, and you don't hear nothing.
Yeah.
You hear nothing. And one day, and I don't know what city was that, they said 45 of our children were missing. That was just in one city. I saw another where 30 was missing. But do you hear anything about it?
No.
Why? Because the taskmasters and the Pharaoh and all of them in control. Just like then, it's just like now.
Just like now.
The book of Jasher, chapter 77, verse.
I'm still on verse 18.
Go ahead.
It says, I'm on verse 19. And the taskmasters of Mitzrayim did so to the babes of Yeshurel for many days, and no one pitied or had compassion over the babes of the children of Yeshurel.
They have no compassion.
And the number of all the children killed in the building was 270, some whom they had built upon instead of the bricks, which had been left deficient by their fathers, and some whom they had drawn out dead from the building. And the labor imposed upon the children of Yeshurel in the days of Adakim exceeded in hardship that which they performed in the days of his father. And the children of Yeshurel sighed every day on account of their heavy work, for they had said to themselves, Behold, when Pharaoh shall die, his son will rise up and lighten our work.
So who they putting their faith in?
Men.
Who they putting their faith in again?
Men.
They did not
get the
most. This is why he allowed their babies to be taken. Just like when Joseph was in the prison house. Joseph, when he interpreted the man's visions and told him that, it means that 3 days, that one he told in 3 days you'll be killed. And then the other one he told that in 3 days you'll be restored back to the Pharaoh. And so what happened was Joseph asked this man, he says, when you go before the Pharaoh, can you ask him to release me? He didn't go to the Most High. So since he did 2 more years in prison. We cannot put our faith in men.
Here comes some bars for y'all. Y'all ready?
Huh?
You can never be freed from captivity, relying and dependent on your enemy.
Come on, man. You can never be free. Never be free.
Period.
So you got to remember that these enemies are not part of us. They're not included in our nation. And when you walking around with this delusion, you understand, you never have inclusion. You'll never be included into those who he calls the called out assembly. You will never assemble. And right now, I'm telling you right now, all of these things mimic what's going on right now as we speak. The book of Jasher, chapter 77.
Verse 22.
Go ahead.
And the children of Yeshurel sighed every day on account of their heavy work, for they had said to themselves, Behold, when Pharaoh shall die, his son will rise up and lighten our work. But they increased the latter work more than the former. And the children of Yeshurel sighed at this, and their cry ascended to Elohim on account of their labor. And Elohim heard the voice of the children of Yeshurel and their cry in those days. And Elohim remembered to them his covenant, which he had made with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov.
We need to make sure we keep crying out. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to be gathered. I ain't tired. I'm sick and dang tired of what's going on around us. I'm so tired. I'm just like, Abba, please come gather us. I'm tired of getting up and go to work. I'm tired of trying to sit here and do this and that. And every time you turn around, you've got people who are naysayers and people who are soothsayers and people who are fornicators and liars. And this stuff vexes you when you start walking rightly. And then I get super tired when I go downtown Atlanta and I see all my people sleeping on the streets, walking around with demons on them because they've been doing things they did not know because they haven't read the Torah and they allow the demons to come into them. My people perish for lack of knowledge. I'm tired of sitting and a young man walk up to me and ask me if I got anything or any food that he can eat. And of course, I just give them what I eat. If someone comes up to me, I give them my lunch. Because I can always eat again what they can't. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the pain, not only with us, but even I look at some of these other nations. I mean, we know that Gaza, Zephaniah talked about in Amos, said it'd be taken away. But man, when you look at these babies starving, you know, in Palestine, these babies are starving. When you look at
being shot,
being
blown
up in the church, I mean, in their hospitals, and it's
sad.
It's sad, man. It's sad. Just my heart is vexed, not just for our people, but for the world. Go ahead, Sis Micaiah.
Jasher 77, verse 25. And Elohim saw the burden of the children of Yisrael and their heavy work in those days, and he determined to deliver them.
You determined to do what?
Deliver them.
So what is he determined for us right now?
To deliver us.
Why do you think these chariots keep coming in the earth? Why do you think these ships keep coming from the heavens, from the firmament? Why do you think they keep coming in sideways? Huh? Why do you think when the scriptures say that the angels come, they light up the sky? Because he's coming to deliver us.
Somebody said it sounds like we reading the 6 o'clock news. Real talk.
Because
history repeating itself.
History is repeating itself. But he straightway told us, my people perish for lack of knowledge. If you knew what happened back then, you could see everything that's going on now.
And this is why religion was put in place, to keep us in the
That's
blind.
why Constantine came up with Christianity. This is why your churches were built. This is why you had a slave Bible. And you still got a slave Bible. You got a New King James.
Well, even all religion, you know.
Yeah, well, they all set up.
They
all set up by the Vatican. They all set up by the Vatican. All of them.
Yep.
The book of Jasher, chapter 77, verse
26.
Go ahead.
It says, and Moshe, the son of Amram, was still confined in the dungeon in those days, in the house of Ruel, the Midianite. And Cepher, the daughter of Ruel, did support him with food secretly, day by day. And Moshe was confined in the dungeon in the house of Ruel for 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, which was the first year of the reign of Pharaoh over Mitzrayim, in the place of his father.
I want to say something. I had my brother Derek. You know Derek. Derek, my buddy, good buddy, man. I love that brother. Derek said, wait a minute. I'm sitting there reading Enoch, and I'm realizing that a lot of the things that was written and that's going on right now was already foretold. He was like, man, I can't believe this. He was like, wait a minute. What does it mean? And it says that I'm reading the house of El is the most high. He said, then I'm reading that the son give us powers. He's like, the whole Superman movie was based off of us. I said, brother, the way Hollywood makes millions and billions of dollars is using our stories. 300. That was us. Let's think about it for a minute. What was it called? The Excalibur. What did he have to pull out of the ground? He could not get the sword out of the rock. Everything that we're reading, folks, they mimic us. This is how they make money. We've taken Hollywood out of bankruptcy because of our movies, Black Panther. The brother said in 1972 that if it wasn't for Shaft, Hollywood would have went broke back then. So they want to call us minority. How are we a minority if our dollars is what make them thrive? What makes this earth thrive? Our monies. No, we're not a minority. They just tell you that. But let's read another account, and you tell me if it sounds familiar. Let's keep reading, please, Sister Micaiah. Jasher, chapter 77, verse 28.
And at the end of 10 years, which was the first year of the reign of Pharaoh over Mitzrayim in the place of his father, Zipporah said to her father Ruel, no person inquires or seeks after the Ivri man.
The Hebrew man? Is it a Hebrew man or the Ivri?
It says Ivri man.
That's the name we use, Ivri. This is why it's more important to get our books. Go ahead.
Whom you did bind in prison now 10 years. Now, therefore, if it seems good in your sight, let us send and see whether he is living or dead. But her father knew not that she had supported him. And Ruel, her father, answered and said to her, has ever such a thing happened that a man should be shut up in a prison without food for 10 years and that he should live? And Zipporah answered her father, saying, surely you have heard that the Elohim of the Ephraim is great and awful and does wonders for them at all times.
So her words, even though she was a Midianite, what did that show? She even had faith.
Yeah.
She had faith just like the people. This is why the Most High allowed Moshe to be with her. Do y'all see what this woman just said? Do y'all understand this? Do y'all understand that Joseph's wife had to shave her? Excuse me, what did she do? Did she shave her head? No, she didn't. She did a whole cleansing process. She cried to the clay turned to
Joseph and Asareth.
Joseph and Asareth. You need to read it. Aseneth. Joseph and Aseneth. You need to read that. You got to read it. She did a total transformation. Even how the Most High said we were going to the land and we would subdue a tribe of people and we would take a woman. That woman had been mourning for her parents for 7 months. She had to shave her head. And then she had to follow all the laws of Israel. Then when she was reborn again, she could be part of the tribes and be married. That was, of course, before he told us not to marry these other people because he realized that they were leading us to other gods. So this is pretty deep. This is deep. But let's keep reading.
Jasher 77, verse 33. He it was who delivered Abraham from Ur of the Kasdim, and Yitzhak from the sword of his father, and Yaakov from the angel of Yahuwah.
She know all our stories.
Who wrestled with him at the ford of Yabak.
You hear that? She knows the scriptures. Go ahead.
34. Also with this man has he done many things. He delivered him from the river in Mizraim, and from the sword of Pharaoh, and from the children of Kush. So also can he deliver him from famine and make him live.
Come on.
And the thing seemed good in the sight of Reuel, and he did according to the word of his daughter, and sent to the dungeon to ascertain what became of Moshe. And he saw, and behold, the man Moshe was living in the dungeon, standing upon his feet, praising and praying to the Elohim of his ancestors.
Come on. So he sat there for 10 years. But wait a minute. Then the Most High told us that some of us will be thrown into prison for what? 10 days? It was symbolic of the 10 years that Moses did. 10. He said he will cast us into prison for what? 10 days. But he says, do not do what? Don't lose your faith. He said, be faithful to what? The end. So what was Moses here?
Faithful to the end.
He was faithful to the end.
Free.
When they came in, he had his hands raised up.
Come on.
Nailed to that tree of life.
And obviously he taught her too.
And as they taught for 10 years, he taught her many things. That's how she knew this book. She knew it verbatim by heart.
Come on.
Come on. You tell me she wasn't worthy? This is why Miriam was smote with leprosy when she spoke against her. The Most High is like, you just looking at her outward appearance and where she came from, but I'm looking at the inside of this woman. I know she knows me and reverences me with authority. Since you want to go against Moshe, and if I didn't go against him, if I didn't say anything about this woman, why are you doing it? Matter of fact, I'm going to smite you with leprosy. Moses prayed for it, but the Most High said, you're going to know, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to take it from her, but she's going to sit on this for 7 days, 7 is completion. She's going to be a leper for 7 days. The Most High knew this woman's heart. I want y'all to get these stories and understand deeper meaning when you read these scriptures. The Book of Jasher, chapter 77, verse
37.
Go ahead.
It says, and Reuel commanded Moshe to be brought out of the dungeon, so they shaved him, and he changed his prison garments and ate bread. And afterward Moshe went into the garden of Reuel, which was behind the house, and he there prayed to Yahuwah Elohim.
So imagine him going, and then he raised his hands up immediately. He was so thankful. He knew that he was delivered. But let's get this. Tell me, does this sound like a movie that you read? They always use our stories to make their movies and their wealth. Let's keep reading, please.
And he there prayed to Yahuwah Elohim, who had done mighty wonders for him. And it was that while he prayed, he looked opposite to him, and behold, a sapphire stick was placed in the ground, which was planted in the midst of the garden.
So what was there?
A sapphire stick.
Sapphire stick. Let's get what this stick was.
Verse 40. And he approached the stick, and he looked, and behold, the name of Yahuwah Elohim Sabaoth was engraved thereon.
Whose name was engraved?
The Most High's name.
Man, the Most High's name was on it. Go ahead.
Written and developed upon the stick.
Come on.
And he read it and stretched forth his hand, and he plucked it like a forest tree from the thicket, and the stick was in his hand.
Does that not sound like Thor's hammer?
Yeah.
Does that not sound like Thor's hammer? Does not sound like the sword that was stuck into the ground in Excalibur? Y'all know that the Excalibur, that the temple of Excalibur is in the Grand Canyon? Do y'all know that? I'm sure you didn't, because 90% is closed off. Go ahead and read.
Jasher 72, verse 42. And this is the stick with which all the works of our Elohim were performed after he had created heaven and earth and all the hosts of them, seas, rivers, and all their fish.
Did you get this in the regular Bible? No, but you get it in this. Go ahead and read.
And when Elohim had driven Adam from the Garden of Eden, he took the stick in his hand and went and tilled the ground from which he was taken.
This is a stick from the beginning.
And the stick came down to Noah and was given to Shem and his descendants until it came into the hand of Abraham the Evrite. And when Abraham had given all he had to his son Yitzhak, he also gave to him this stick. And when Yaakov had fled to Padan Aram, he took it into his hand. And when he returned to his father, he had not left it behind him. Also, when he went down to Mitzrayim, he took it into his hand and gave it to Joseph, one portion above his brethren. For Yaakov had taken it by force from his brother Esau. Yes. And after the death of Joseph, the nobles of Mitzrayim came into the house of Joseph, and the stick came into the hand of Reuel, the Midianite. And when he went out of Mitzrayim, he took it in his hand and planted it in his garden. Mm-hmm. And all the mighty men of the Canaanite tried to pluck it when they endeavored to get Cepher, his daughter, but they were unsuccessful.
Now you see how this worked. His father-in-law had gotten that stick. Y'all see that? You see how the Most High do things a long time. He already planned things out. He knew that there'll be a day that the deliverer will grab that stick. Mm-hmm. And that stick had power. The power from the Most High. They make up movies about everything about us. They make movies. This is your Thor. This is your Excalibur with the sword in the ground. This is where they get it from. Just like where they got 300 from, where 300 men who drunk up the water at Gideon with their hands instead of lapping it like an animal. Mm-hmm. All their stories come from us, folks. We are the salt of the earth. Let's read it. 77.
All right. Verse 50. This is Jasher 77, verse 50. So that stick remained planted in the garden of Reuel until he came who had a right to it and took it.
To who came and had a what?
Right to it.
Then Thor's hammer, you had to have a right to it. Mm-hmm. Then Excalibur, you had to be of the kingship to get it. Mm-hmm. This is deep.
Verse 51. And when Reuel saw the stick in the land of Moshe, he wondered at it, and he gave him his daughter Zipporah for a woman.
He knew that he had to be a spiritual man to get that stick. Mm-hmm. He knew it. All right. On that note, we're going to stop at 77. We'll continue next Sabbath on 78.
Yeah, willing.
If it's the Most High's will. All right. And the reason we're stopping here, we got to get some grandkids. So you want to go a little further? What time you need to leave?
Yeah, we need to wrap up by at least 3:30.
Okay, let's read a little bit more because I don't want to stop. Shoot, I love this. Yeah.
Jasher.
When I get into Jasher, y'all, it's like a movie. When you go through the book of Jasher, it's like a movie playing out. I love it.
It's 3:18, so we can finish 78.
Okay, cool. At that time died Baal-Canaan, son of Akbor, king of Edom, and was buried in the house of the land of Edom. And after his death, the children of Esau sent to the land of Edom and took from there a man who was in Edom, whose name was Hadad. They made him king over them in the place of Baal-Canaan, their king. And Hadad reigned over the children of Edom 48 years. And when he had reigned, he resolved to fight against the children of Moab, to bring them under the power of the children of Esau. And they were before. It says Esau as they were before, but he was not able, because the children of Moab heard this thing, and they rose up and hastened to elect a king over them from amongst their brethren. And they afterwards gathered together a great people and sent to the children of Ammon, their brethren, for to help to fight against Hadad, king of Edom. And Hadad heard the thing which the children of Moab had done, and was greatly afraid of them, and refrained from the fighting against them. In those days Moshe, the son of Amram, the Midian, took also Cepher, the daughter of Reuel, the Midianite, for a woman. And Cepher walked in the ways of his daughter. One moment here.
What's wrong?
I was just reading some over. I just want to double check. Verse 8, it says, and Cepher walked in the ways of the daughters of Yaakov. She was nothing short. Get this. It says Cepher did what? She walked in the ways of the daughters of Jacob. She was nothing short of righteousness of Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. Y'all see that? Mm-hmm. She had the same spirit as they had.
As her foremother.
She had it. This is deep. And Cepher conceived and bore a son and called his name Gershon. For he said, I was a stranger in a foreign land. But he circumcised not the foreskin at the command of Raoul, his father-in-law. And she conceived again and bore a son, but circumcised his foreskin. And they called his name Eliezer. For Moshe said, because of Elohim of my fathers was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, greatly increased the labor of the children of Israel in those days, and continued to make his yoke heavier upon the children of Israel. And he ordered a proclamation to be made in Mitzrayim, saying, give no more straw to the people to make their bricks with. Let them go and gather themselves straw as they can find it. And they took, and they Shalakia, verse 13, the book of Jasher, chapter 78, verse 13. Also the tally of the bricks which they shall make, let them give each day, and diminish nothing from them, for they are idle in their work. They always want to say we lazy. You see that? Ain't nothing new under the sun. We built a whole America, and they still call us lazy. You know, what is the word? Well, we'll say what the Bible says, Niger, but y'all know what the word is. What does it mean when you look it up? Sorry and lazy. Well, how are the people who built all of America, how can they be sorry and lazy? How are the people who had to work 6 days a week and only had Sunday off, how are they sorry and lazy? And they work from sun up to sundown. Folks, there's nothing new under the sun. Verse 14, it says, and the children of Israel heard this, and they murmured, and they mourned and sighed, and they cried unto Yahuwah on the account of the bitterness of their souls. And Yahuwah heard the cries of the children of Israel, and saw their oppression in which Mitzrayim had oppressed them. And Yahuwah was jealous of his people and his inheritance, and heard their voice. And he resolved to take them out of their affliction of Mitzrayim, to give them the land of Canaan for possession. What is he hearing right now?
Our cry.
So he can give us the land that he promised to what? Our forefathers. He's going to gather us from the four corners of the earth. He's going to take us into our land. Just like back then, it's just like now.
Yes.
He's going to gather us because we're crying out. We're not just tired, we're sick and darn tired. And he's going to gather his people. All praise to the Most High.
Exactly.
All praise to the Most High.
Ananiah Baruch. She
all
said,
praises.
They are the lazy ones, so lazy they didn't even nurse their own babies. Yeah. Real talk.
Real talk. It's even deeper than that. Let's think about it for a minute. You can't put them in the field. Have you seen them in the fields? How that back get these big pus bumps and the skin turns completely blistered?
Well, what were they saying when Trump was sending back the Mexicans? What did they say? Well, they was in groups talking about how we was going to be put back out there.
Come on. They thought
they wasn't talking about getting out there.
Trump said that they're taking African-American jobs. Really? Really? We was forced to do those labor jobs. Before you made us slaves, we owned Tartarian cities. We had free ether, free energy, free water. We had buildings that had acoustic sounds that could heal you. We had advanced technology that our people had in their cities. If you go to New York right now, there's tunnels underneath the city that go where they had things that went like lightning speed. That's from the Tartarian era. When you go through New York, when you go through Chicago, California, or even Georgia, you got ancient buildings that are Tartarian buildings. They didn't tear them all down. What they would do is make a nice fair, have people come to the fair, and then they would say, all these buildings we built in a year or two. You can't even build a hut. How you build these tall buildings and these beautiful glass buildings that go 24 acres? Folks, they did that so that we would not know who we are. They did that so we would not understand that we are the children of the promise, that we have advanced technology. Look at all the inventions made in the Americas. I saw a clip from Trump. Trump says, we got the greatest country in the world. Look at all the inventions we made. And every invention that he named, there was an Israelite who made it. The traffic light, the telephone, the refrigerator. Every invention he named, we did it. All they invented was the patent office. All of this is spiritual, folks. This lesson was very profound today. It was so profound because it's showing you that when you read the book of Deuteronomy, when you read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, all these books, the Torah, and then you go through all our other books, it was just a foreshadowing what would come now. It's so spiritual.
Yeah. Someone was asking, can we turn on subtitles? I have to figure that out on StreamYard. I'm not sure. I know on YouTube I can probably do it.
Why? Some people can't listen?
Okay. They can't
okay, for the blind?
Hear. I think that's when they can't hear.
They can't hear? Okay. What we'll do is we'll try to make sure we get some subtitles on here.
Yeah.
And I'll try to figure out where they are at.
I know I can put it on YouTube. I have to figure out how to do it on StreamYard. I'm not sure. Yes. Oh wow, I got 136 on my page today. All praises to the Most High.
All praise to the Most High. I don't even know how you see all of that. Where you see that at?
See right here. It tell you how many watching.
Oh, okay. That's all praises. I got it's 290 on this one right here. All praises, and they shadow banned us on TikTok so bad. So
yeah, they won't let us go past.
We was at 80-some thousand people watching at one time.
I mean, sometimes we was at 100,000.
Yeah. Okay. Fatim Henderson says, "Thank you, sister and brother, once again. A beautiful lesson. When I just had my Bible, it seemed like my spirit was at a standstill. Now with the Cepher, my spirit is stronger, and the gifts are elevated."
Yeah,
there it goes.
Look.
Sis, you said you hit it right there.
All of it comes by hearing the word of the living Elohim.
But you got to get the right books. Shadiqua Jamila said.
Don't beat up her name.
I said it right. Shadiqua Jamila says, beautiful lesson. Thank you, sis. All praise to the Most High. It's just giving understanding in a time where a lot of people don't have any understanding. The Most High has made this thing plain to us. This is why if you don't have that, that's why I was like, who said the Cepher is not what? Do they know this book? But you said it was a pastor. That explains everything. Mm-hmm. That explains everything.
Well, listen, anybody who does not believe this book, they have not read it. They couldn't have read it.
Yeah, they got the Antichrist spirit.
Or they read it with the understanding that religion gave them. Right. They didn't read it being guided by the Ruach
by the Holy Spirit. Absolutely not. They're following their hearts. And sometimes they'll grab one topic and listen to somebody else and just run with it. When you open your mouth and you say things that other people said that has nothing to do with scripture, all you're doing is regurgitating and vomit. That's it.
Okay, so hold on. Thankful said, thank you for this, sis. All right, whoever needs the captions, right? She said you can turn on your captions by touching the CC caption box.
That's right. That makes sense.
So, yeah. But they can't hear me say that, but hopefully they can see your comment. I'm going to put it right here.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All praise to the Most High.
Sherry Stone says, Cepher all the way.
Harold Jackson, how you doing, my brother? Anthony Davis, how you doing? Ramon, I know you're there. Miss Tippins, sis, you know you're always there. Miss Tippins says, if my people are called by my name, they shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then will I hear, it says, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins. This is going to be Zechariah. What does it say? 7? What is this here, sis?
Where?
What does she got here?
Where?
She put 7:14.
Second Chronicles.
That's Second Chronicles. Yeah, that's what I was like. What did that
7:14.
I'm like, what? Zechariah. I'm like,
Second
it can't be.
Chronicles.
All praise to the Most High.
Look, Sherry Stone. That's right. The Bible is not a religious or Christian book.
No, it's not.
It is our history.
It's our history.
That's Black history.
Yeah, I mean,
for real.
No,
so-called.
No, Ivrit history, not Black.
Well,
Black means you're dead. You're not alive.
Right.
It means this is the Ivrit history. This is our history book. This is how we know where we came from, and we know where we're going. We don't have to guess.
Yeah.
All right, let's say a prayer out. Heavenly Father in heaven, blessed be Adonai Yahuwah. Thank you so much, Heavenly Father, for having your children as a family. Heavenly Father, as we go through our days, we pray, Heavenly Father, right now, as a family, we're praying all together that you come gather us out.
Yeah.
Take us away from these strange heathens and these Gentiles who are uncircumcised in heart and mind. Abba, we pray right now that you forgive us of our sins, for we've all sinned against you. We've all trespassed against you in ignorance. But now, Abba, you truly breathed the four winds into us. You truly put sinews and tendons on us. You truly got us standing on our feet. You truly have us prophesying, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Abba. Thank you for the light that you bring to us each and every day. I pray right now you cast off all darkness that tries to come our way, any demons, any spirits that try to infiltrate this temple, Abba, for you said that we are your temple. Yeah. I pray, Abba, that you protect us, block them, keep them at a standstill, Abba. But you said also, Abba, and showed us that we are the Nephilim killers. And these are demonic spirits that come from Nephilim. Abba, I pray that you give us the power to rebuke, repel, and to destroy all these demons. You told us to be wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove, Heavenly Father. I pray, Abba, that you give us the wisdom and show us the things that the serpents are thinking so we can maneuver around them each and every day so that they don't steal our crowns, so they do not take our keys to our mansion. Bless you, Heavenly Father. I pray that you bless the children here, the elderly, the women, the men, all of your children, Abba, and the handmaids and servants who are here today. For so many of them, Abba, didn't know the truth. So many of them have been taught lies. The scriptures say they've inherited lies from their forefathers. Thank you, Abba, for showing them who we are, but more importantly than us, who you are in your holy name, your Son, our Yeshua, our salvation. Bless you and blessed be you, Yeshua, for you are truly our King and our priest. I pray these things and ask you bless our Sabbath. Bless us as we go through our weeks. Bless us when we go to work. Bless us when we go, Heavenly Father, in our homes. Bless us when we go to the parks. Bless us when we go to the stores. Bless us when we drive in the cars. Bless us, Heavenly Father, when we breathe and wake up in the morning. From the beginning to the end, I pray for blessings. And I ask this in the name of your Son, Yeshua, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Until
Hallelujah.
Next time, family.
All right, we got to go. The last thing I'm going to say, if you guys are coming to Tabernacle, I need each and every one who's coming to Tabernacle to make sure that you text me and how much you paid
and how many tents
many tents you have, so we can go ahead and space this out. I know one sister gave a donation for 4 tents, but I think that's the only person that did. So, and she
2 people.
She paid partial payment. She hasn't paid in full yet.
2 or 3 people have said in the Evite that they are having 2 tents.
Okay, so, well, we need to know. Yeah. Okay, so we can go ahead and space these things out.
We're about to start assigning spaces.
Yeah, we got to sign these spaces. Also, the feeding the homeless went beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful last weekend.
Everyone that came.
Oh my goodness, it was beautiful. Tonight, between tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to get one of the homeless videos up, and then I'll get another one up. I've been saying it, been running here and there, but I got to get them up. I'm going to tell you something. I want to thank everyone here who's been given to feed the homeless, clothes, shoes, clothing, all of that. Thank you, guys. When I tell you, when we went this last feeding the homeless, first of all, we went down to Macklin Park, was it? Was that the name of the park?
No, Woodruff.
Woodruff Park. I always say the park short. Woodruff Park was going to go, but it's completely blocked off. So prayed on it. The Holy Spirit guided us. Eddie Bird was telling us about one area we can go into. But as we did that, we asked the homeless, and they directed us where to go. They knew exactly. One young lady told us to go by some library. So she said, when you go there, there's going to be people in the, people in the woods. I'm like, in the woods? What do you mean? So I'm like, okay, no problem. We know we see people in the woods, but when we went back, there was like a horseshoe. And I kid you not. So a lot of us, there was another camp ahead of us on that road before we turned. So all them came out. We was able to get them food, clothing. But when I went to the back part, through the cul-de-sac, and I'm going to put it in the video, not maybe the first feeding homes, but the second one. Man, there was an area we walked through. You saw that video. I mean, it's like Tent City. Mm-hmm. The people were so thankful for the food, the clothing.
And now they're building over there, so they're
going to push them out. They're going to push them out. They do everything strategically.
Out. Yeah.
But when I tell you, when you see what our people go through, it'll make you really appreciate what the Most High is giving you.
Yeah.
And the provisions he's giving you.
For real.
Be thankful.
It could be worse.
Be thankful for what you have.
Be content.
Stop whining, stop complaining. Because you've not gone through anything that our ancestors have gone through. You go through things, but can you imagine your baby being taken from you in the middle of the night? Can you imagine your wife and you there and the slave master grabbing your wife and pulling her out? And men all these other men are doing all these things to her, and she's coming back to you with her head dropped down, body torn. Can you imagine your babies being used as alligator bait? Can you imagine being in a fern field, in a cotton field? Why I say fern field, because my people actually labor in fern fields. But being in a cotton field from sun up to sundown, hands torn, callous. And you had to get in that field when you were 3 years old. 3 years old, they started working. And all you had was supper and dinner. And one day off. Folks, be content with what you have. Because there's a lot of people who are not doing well, not doing good. Mm-hmm. Be thankful that the Most High is giving you any provisions that you have. Because right now we got sisters, even in our ministry, who are homeless and going through things. You know, I got brothers in this ministry who are homeless and going through things. So we need to pray for them. And we need to,
so if you're able to donate to them,
we need to donate because we got people who are homeless and need it. But I want to thank everyone here who does give donations, who does help. And our donation sites are right there on our webpage. You go there, you can see them. You got the ministry site there. We also got kingdommissionholdings.org. You can go there and you can also donate. All these donations, I'm telling you, it makes your heart, it makes you want to cry when you see the people go through things,
But it helps.
But you rejoice
to be able to help. Is good,
the tents, the blankets, the shoes, the clothing. I just want to thank everyone here.
Yes.
We love you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right. On that note, we got to get out of here.
All right. Shabbat
so we're going to say
family.
We love you and Shabbat Shalom. Peace be unto you on the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. All right.